You might even win some prizes while you're there. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Today on Hey Culligan, why does your team stink? Here's Coach Waters.
Hey Culligan, yeah, my team stinks.
Ooh, harsh.
No, I mean they stink. They won't hit the showers because it makes their skin all dry and itchy.
Coach, it sounds like your guys have been hit hard by hard water.
You kidding me? Hard water?
Yep, so let's call an audible in the form of one Culligan Smart High Efficiency Water Softener to get the smooth back in their skin and the stink out of your team.
Okay, Culligan, I'm putting you in.
Coach, we're already on the way.
Receive a free in-home water test by visiting CulliganFresnoLindsay.com.
KMJ is celebrating our 100th anniversary. It's part of the Big Fresno Fair Table Mountain Concert Series, presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota, featuring Tower of Power. With special guests, the Appletones, and comedy legend Paul Rodriguez. Tuesday, October 11th, in the Paul Theater. Sponsored by American Pistachio Growers and Caglia Environmental. For tickets and more info on the big event, click on KMJNow.com.
The ag industry is built on trust and relationships. Don York, KMJ Ag Director, is sharing details about the Ag Center. The Ag Center was founded by farmers for farmers with the principle of no growers left behind. The Ag Center's mission is to connect with farmers of all sizes, bringing the best resources the industry offers. From field services to ag tech, even innovative products and consulting, the Ag Center has you covered. Call or visit the website at agcenter.com to connect and grow.
If anyone in your home relies on power for medical equipment or has a medical condition with specific heating or cooling needs, you may qualify for PG&E's Medical Baseline Program, helping you pay less for the energy you need. Call 1-800-743-5000 for assistance applying.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
Sunny and 89 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. The first of 2 suspects in the case of a murdered family of 4 from Merced is being arraigned today. Jesus Salgado and his brother Alberto are in custody at the Merced County Jail. Today, the Merced County DA's office charged Jesus with 4 counts of murder for the killings of an 8-month-old baby, her parents, and uncle. He's also being charged with arson, accused of setting his former employer's truck on fire, as well as possessing a firearm by a prohibited person. Prior charges are also being added to the case. Salgado faces life in prison without the chance of parole. His brother Alberto also facing charges related to the killings. The victim's family returns to the scene of the abduction for the first time.
Relatives of the Merced County family that was kidnapped and killed last week are back at the trucking company that their family owns. Sukh Bela and Amarinder Singh went inside the trailer Sunday and unexpectedly found 8-month-old victim Aruhi's shoe.
Baby Aruhi was off limits. I have so much anger for what I saw inside this trailer.
The bodies of Aruhi, her parents, and her uncle were found last Wednesday in an almond orchard. The 4 had been kidnapped 2 days prior to that. Sunday night marked the 4th and final vigil in Merced, one for each of the victims.
It's really been a constant cycle of disbelief, at times pain, anger, and grief.
That's KGO reporter J.R. Stone. A GoFundMe page has been set up to benefit the victim's surviving family members. We have a link on our website, kmjnow.com. The president of the LA City Council, Nuri Martinez, resigns today after she was caught on tape using racial slurs directed toward the son of a fellow council member. KABC reporter Leanne Suter has the story.
Protesters rally in front of Nuri Martinez's home demanding her resignation after the council president was recorded calling Councilman Mike Bonin's young son a racial slur in Spanish, then making other derogatory remarks about the boy who is black.
Really disgusted and disappointed and embarrassed.
Audio of Martinez making numerous inflammatory remarks posted online by Knock LA. Bonin posting on social media he's hurt that one of his son's earliest encounters with overt racism comes from some of the most powerful public officials in LA. Martinez apologizing for the comments, saying in a statement, quote, "In a moment of intense frustration and anger, I let the situation get the best of me. For that, I am sorry."
California Governor Gavin Newsom putting out a statement saying, in part, words matter and racist language can do real harm. These comments have no place in our state or our politics. There's another lawsuit trying to stop President Biden's student loan forgiveness, joining a number of others saying that the president does not have the right to wipe out that debt. Here's ABC's Andy Field.
The Job Creators Network Foundation started this court fight against President Biden, saying his student loan debt forgiveness order is a never-before-done executive power grab that will still let, quote, greedy colleges keep raising tuition. The White House saying they're trying to give students breathing room and that these lawsuits just represent special interests.
Tree crop growers have a new way to improve their irrigation practices. KMJ's Ron McCary has details.
The California Farm Bureau Federation reports that new technology allows farmers to detect how thirsty their trees are and then make better irrigation decisions, leading to greater yields. Researchers at UC Davis have been testing sensors in different commercial orchards as part of a 4-year program funded by the Almond Board of California. The sensors measure a tree's stem water potential, which refers to the amount of energy a plant needs to draw water from the soil. 2 sensors tested by the research team have made market debuts in recent years. Ron McCary, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 93 points, closing at 29,202. The S&P 500 lost 27. NASDAQ dropped 110. Now here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Monday forecast.
Starting your week off with afternoon highs well above normal. 91 in Fresno right now. Normal is 81. Upper 80s and low 90s everywhere else, with overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. And a chance for some mountain rain in the Sierra Nevada, about a 20% chance with less than 1/10 of an inch expected this afternoon. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. On the roadways right now in Fresno, we got on West McKinley at Goldenrod a minor injury accident. Also in Fresno, westbound 180 at Fowler. A hazard in the roadway, a bunch of paper flying around and causing some problems there. Next update, 217. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
PLAY. PLAY. Play
to 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want your straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
American pistachio growers celebrating the harvest by giving away locally grown pistachios at KMJ's 100th anniversary party October 11th at the Big Fresno Fair. See you there, and let's go nuts.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive. Philip Teresi and Skip Echeverria. From AM Radio 580.
To the internet, KMJNow.com.
From Warren G. Harding to
Let's Go Brandon.
From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Afternoon Drive with Philip and Skip.
100 years of KMJ.
News, talk, radio.
It's 2:08 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday installment of your Afternoon Drive. The phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow the show at Drive KMJ and on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch.tv. You can watch the show also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon as I join Skip Echeverria back in the KMJ studio.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. First things first, a new hour means a new national keyword for the 25K payoff, which is brought to you locally by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. It starts with you texting that national keyword to 95819. If you're lucky, you'll win $100, and if you do, you're automatically in the running for the $25,000 grand prize drawing. All the contest rules can be found at kmjnow.com. The only one I need to know is don't text and drive. What is the national keyword for this hour?
This hour, it's play. Play. Play.
Text it to 95819, and good luck. Got a lot coming up on the show today. Cyber attacks at U.S. airports. What happened and why is it not a bigger deal? A man barricaded in a bathroom in Madera causes thousands of dollars in damage, and something kind of conspicuous missing from the reporting on this one. The latest from Merced County, as well as because he just cannot help but make a spectacle of himself. Kanye West causing a whole lot of people that were rallying around how bright and funny he was a week ago to skitter away rapidly as he goes full-blown anti-Semitic on his Twitter feed. But we'll start with the buzz question. We do it every day at kmjnow.com. It's brought to you by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. And today we are asking, Governor Newsom has called a special session amongst legislators in Sacramento to discuss a potential tax, a windfall tax on oil companies. Will a tax help bring prices down? Let us know what you think. Again, the buzz question brought to you daily by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center. Skip, what do you think?
I'm going to go with a no on that one, Bob, along with 98% of people voting. Yeah. That might help later on if you're trying to get into profits or whatnot, but that's not helping us right now. I did it again. Apparently there's a cap on my credit card that it only runs to $100.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was riding on E, and I couldn't even gas up the Not Mom mobile for $100.
Oh, really?
It had been a while since that. It had been around 70.
Oh.
Yeah. How about you?
I haven't had to fill my car up in about a month because I only drive like a mile and a half every day. But I did take Mrs. Teresi's vehicle out, and she's got a pretty economical vehicle. She drives a Subaru. And I think the tank on that thing's like 14 gallons. It's not huge.
Yeah, mine's like 16.
Yeah. Minivans are a little bigger.
It is not a minivan.
And says the guy who was driving around Clovis in a Forester. And I drove all the way to Clovis before I realized the hey stupid put gas in light was on. And so I did, and that's the single biggest fill up I've had. I hit a Sinclair station where it was I think it was $6.50 a gallon.
Oh boy. And I even went to the Bad Buds.
Yeah.
So we were trying to go cheaper there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do you think the tax is going to help?
No. No, I agree. I agree with all of the people, almost all of the people who have taken time out of their days to answer the buzz question at kmjnow.com. More taxes is not the solution. More government is not the solution. More Gavin Newsom is definitely not the solution. The well-intentioned idiocy out of Pyongyang West is, in fact, a tremendous part of why we are having the problems that we are having today in this state. I've said it before, and I know people keep looking at me like I'm insane because what I'm saying isn't easy. What I'm saying is, for a lot of people, it's a big, big ask. And I know that. But it just also happens to be the truth. The one thing that will bring down the price of gasoline in California is using way less of it. If we make it clear to the extractors, the refiners, the distributors, and the retailers that we're not going to use the product, they will bring the price down. Case in point. Remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve, everybody? So we had to keep coming to work. I can't even remember. Did you work from home those 2 weeks? Or were you here too?
No, we were all here. The only time we've ever not been here is if we had an exposure or a positive test.
I just couldn't remember those two. It's such a long time ago.
So long ago.
But during that period of time, I lived over off of the Loop, kind of Bullard and Polkish. I lived right by the park there.
Yeah, I wasn't very far away on the Knott Bluffs.
She could see the river from her house, you guys. And if you got on the roof and stretched. So when I would come to work, I would come up Bullard to the Loop and then, come back around to Shaw and shoot up to Radio City. Well, they had just built that Arco. There was a Shell on one side of the street and the brand new Arco on the other side of the street. And Shell is Shell. It's like Chevron. It's a premium. It's got all the fancy detergents and stuff. It's more expensive because it's a name brand. Arco has always been a discount brand. And there was one day I was driving to work, and I think it was on like day 10 of the 14-day, 2-week to flatten the curve experiment. And the gasoline at Arco was $1.98 a gallon.
Oh, yeah.
Shell was like $2.05 a gallon. When's the last time you went to a Chevron or a Shell and saw $2.05 on the sign for something other than a Hot Pocket? The reason the gas prices dropped so much is because nobody was buying gas. And so it was sell it cheaper to encourage people to come and get it. That's it. That's the solution. The problem is if we stop driving that much, we'll tank the state's economy, and that's no good for anybody. But the truth is, if you want gas to cost less, got to stop doing Prime for every little thing. Got to stop doing Walmart Plus and DoorDash for everything. Got to start planning your trips and driving as little as possible if it's at all possible. Weather's starting to get nice enough. Walk to work, ride a bike to work. Use less gas and the price will go down.
Well, I think the biggest issue that all of us are sitting around and having a little bit of whiplash over is that within a week it went up almost $1. Yeah. Now, I know that there was the discussion about, it's summer blend, it's winter blend. No, it's just that the spike was so quick and so shameless by the people setting the price that we all, like I said, we all kind of got whiplash from it. Now, that said, moving forward, we find out that OPEC is not going to listen to the requests to increase production.
Of course
and
not.
So as a result, now we can probably just get used to this new kind of threshold for pain.
We are the frog being boiled slowly. When back in my day, when I was 17 years old, which was not an unbelievably long time ago, and we're talking 25 years back, which isn't nothing, but is also not the 1950s. When I was 17 years old, a $20 bill would fill a mid-sized sedan with enough cash left over for a 32-ounce fountain soda and a pack of Marlboros. And I remember that because I remember getting change back from my 20 after filling my car, getting my smokes and my soda pop. I know that we're probably not going to get back to that short of, again, some kind of just insane national crisis. We are being slowly boiled because now when gas goes all the way back down to $4.50 a gallon, woo, boy, that feels good.
Yeah. On that note, looking at Gas Buddy for Fresno, we're looking at the cheapest gas in town at $5.19 at the Valero, just down the street at 1418 East Shaw Avenue. Next up, $5.37 at Fast Trip and Walmart. Fast Trip in Kerman, Walmart out in Kerman.
So when we get back, a city council member, not from Fresno, embarrassed their city. Isn't that a nice change of pace? This Nuri Martinez down in Los Angeles, man, she got called on the carpet for being a racist. We'll give you Gustavo Arellano's take on this, as well as the latest development in the saga of the LA City Council members who had a lot to say about one of their coworkers' kids.
We head to Visalia right now to check traffic on State Route 137 at Road 168. Got a non-injury accident that's occurred in westbound 80 in Fowler, Fresno. Got a hazard still there, a bunch of paper flying around. And West McKinley at north of Goldenrod cleaning up from a minor injury accident. Next update, 2:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Pain at the pump.
Gas prices they're killing us.
It just took me $150 to fill up.
Live and local news at the top and bottom of the hour.
We're spending roughly like $500 every 2 weeks for gas.
KMJ News has the very latest on the soaring gas prices right here on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new homestyle French toast sticks today. Wendy's new homestyle French toast sticks are so good, some are saying they're better than their mom's French toast. Perfectly crispy on the outside, perfectly fluffy on the inside, perfectly perfect in every way. Try Wendy's new homestyle French toast sticks today and see if they're better than your mom's.
Jump on a tractor and get some work done with John Deere's Family 3 Series small tractor. From the moment you get in the seat, you have a ton of features at your disposal to tackle every chore on your checklist. Loader work, mowing, leveling, digging in. Well, you have the vision and it's affordable. Check out at Thomas & Tractor Company in Firebaugh, where for over 55 years, they strive to provide their customers with individual personalized attention. Thomas & Tractor Company in Firebaugh, where superior service is standard equipment.
Sometimes the grass really is greener when you live on the green. Hi, I'm Gary McDonald, and our highly anticipated gated community at Clubview is finally here. Located along the first hole of the beautiful Copper River Country Club, these lots have some of the best views of the course and iconic clubhouse, with new plans and elevations to fit your lifestyle. You can be near it all, but far from ordinary.
Visit our website or call Brian Hurdle at 559-307-1761 for more information. Gary McDonald Homes, California Contractors License number 847905.
Attention Madera County voters of District 1. We all expect our elected officials to have the knowledge and skills to make the right decisions that affect all of us. That person, Andy Wheeler. Andy Wheeler has lived in District 1 for over 24 years, where he raised his family, and he's a financial advisor. So when it comes to budgets, there's no one better to watch over our tax dollars. He's a school board member and used real science to get our kids back in school. Andy's experience has earned him the endorsements of every Madera County public safety organization, including our own Madera County Sheriff Tyson Pogue. Sheriff Pogue said, "I'm supporting Andy Wheeler for supervisor in District 1. His professionalism and dedication to the community is second to none." Join Sheriff Pogue, the Madera Deputies Association, the Madera Police Officers Association, and the Madera County Firefighters Local 2881, and vote for Andy Wheeler for supervisor.
Paid for by Andy Wheeler for Madera County Supervisor, District 1, 2022.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our health care. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining MediShare right now. MediShare is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. MediShare can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 27 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
It seems everyone has a breast cancer story. Some have battled it firsthand, and others have helped loved ones face the challenge. Now is your chance to help in a whole new way by buying a special pink patch from your local law enforcement agency. Each patch is a $10 donation, and your contribution stays local, supporting the Marjorie E. Radin Breast Care Center at Clovis Community Medical Center. Please go to valleypinkpatch.org to learn more or make your gift. Thank you to our Valley Pink Patch sponsors: Be Sweet Citrus, Fresno Acura, the Clovis Police Officers Association, Lennar Homes, KC24, the Business Journal, and News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ.
KMJ is celebrating our 100th anniversary. It's part of the Big Fresno Fair Table Mountain Concert Series, presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota, featuring Tower of Power. With special guests, the Appletones, and comedy legend Paul Rodriguez. Tuesday, October 11th, in the Paul Theater. Sponsored by American Pistachio Growers and Caglia Environmental. For tickets and more info on the big event, click on KMJNow.com.
It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. If you're playing along, your keyword this hour in the $25,000 payoff is play. Text the word play, P-L-A-Y, to 95819, and you could win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Details, rules at KMJnow.com. Congratulations to Priscilla Walker of Merced picking up $100. You want to be the next one? You need to send the word play to 95819. Official rules and details at KMJnow.com. At least it's not Fresno in the news on this next story, because boy, oh boy, is this bad. This is so bad. You thought our city council had its problems? At least we're not Los Angeles today.
Yeah.
Where something back from October made its way to Reddit.
Yeah. So a month ago, the city council president of the city of Los Angeles, along with two of her council colleagues and like a lobbyist.
Someone with a labor union.
Yeah, they were talking in really, really, really base and crass language about how the city should be carved up politically. The conversation was actually just revealed after sitting under wraps for a year. Somebody posted this thing to Reddit.
Yeah, the account has since been suspended and it was anonymous, but it provided audio that has on tape the council president making comments that, what you think that's going to be the worst, and then she keeps talking really openly.
So we've got a council member, Mike Bonin, who's a white dude, whose son is black.
Yes.
So I don't know if he's in a
I think
mixed race marriage, or if they adopted.
Yeah,
or
I
if
think there's an adoption.
Previous marriage, something like that. But in any event, white council member, black kid, and that's where most of this gets off. There's like this, like if you're following politics and you got a problem with gerrymandering, this is gross enough. But when they start, and I want to be very clear that I am quoting the Los Angeles City Council member Nuri Martinez when I use this turn of phrase. At one point, they describe this little black boy as acting like a monkey. They compare him to lawn jockeys and describe him as an accessory, like a Louis Vuitton handbag, but for political brownie points.
Yeah. They went on to say, screw that guy, in so many words only. They didn't say that. And that he's with the blacks. When they were talking about the district attorney too. So Philip, no one said anything and stopped her either. In fact, other people in the room just kind of added in on it.
Yeah, Kevin De Leon was in the room and he was popping off too. Not quite to that extent. He was more in just the neighborhood of general gross political grousing about how we can't carve this up quite the way we want to maximize power. Aside from the racist stuff in here, there's also a really fantastic masterclass in how people in positions of power feel they are entitled to continue to manipulate the voters to hang on to that power.
Yeah. So a couple of different spots that popped up in the tirade by Nuri Martinez. She was angry about the redistricting and that there should have been a Latino representative in the Koreatown area and therefore not the Asian woman that had been rightfully elected. So you had that going on. She was talking about issues within the Latino community too, and kind of ranking which ones were the ones that she wanted on her side and which ones weren't worth the vote or whose vote didn't matter.
Yeah.
But the kid thing is what really crosses over into this, because the joking manner with which they felt so comfortable degrading a child and the family that is raising them is disgusting, but not a surprise. I think the surprise is that it was caught on tape.
So there's two things I want to jump to from here.
Mm-hmm.
One is a lot of you guys probably remember Gustavo Arellano's column, Ask a Mexican, from the OC Register. Gustavo is now writing for the LA Times. And he lays down an op-ed about politics and Latino culture that we're gonna share the link for you guys so you can check it out on your own. Gustavo's going to say some stuff that's going to make people around here mad. He also says some very real stuff about Latinos getting in their own way politically with stuff like this. And this is coming from a guy who is all about La Raza, man. The other thing is, and this is important because this is the bow on the story, at least as far as today's business day goes. Nury Martinez has stepped down as the Los Angeles City Council president, but she is not leaving the council. She's just not going to continue in the leadership.
Yeah, so she's going to maintain her spot in one of the most powerful positions a city council member could be, but people in Los Angeles are supposed to be okay with the fact, well, at least I'm not the president. If this would have been anybody else, like, dare I say it, if this was a man, like a white man, there would have been no question. You'd have left. Anything. I don't know.
Frankly, I think that she should leave. And I don't know if trying to play the like double protected status, well, I'm Hispanic and I'm a woman, so you can't fire me, if that's where she's going with this. Certainly she seems to have a little bit of that attitude going on. If you listen to the comments that she makes on this tape, the level of entitlement in this lady's head is just jaw-dropping. If you took any member from our city council, any of them, you've got Carbasi, who's of Eastern extraction. You've got Bredefeld, who's about as white as I am. You've got Esmeralda and Arias, who are both Hispanic. Esparza's Hispanic. Tyler Maxwell, here's another white guy. If anybody on our city council had been caught out saying something like this, they'd be done. It wouldn't be resign the council presidency. It would be pack and leave town in the dark at night. And we know it.
Yeah.
Our city wouldn't put up with people acting like this.
Well,
there isn't a voting block in town that would put up
and
with
I don't know that the city there necessarily wants to put up with it, except for you have somebody that's going this off the rails behind closed doors. I don't know that they're going to be listening to anybody.
The problem here in this woman's mind is that she got caught. That she talked like this for an hour means that she thinks this is how people act behind closed doors. News time now. Here is Liz Kern.
KMJ News now.
President Biden called Ukraine's president today after Russia resumed targeting civilians in major cities, including the country's capital of Kyiv. ABC's Andy Field has details from Washington.
President Biden telling Volodymyr Zelensky the U.S. condemns Russia's missile attacks on Kyiv and other cities and pledged continued U.S. military support, including air defense systems that would shield against those Russian airstrikes. Mr. Biden also saying he'll keep working with allies to hold Russia accountable. Russia's civilian strikes came after a truck bomb destroyed a major supply bridge to land that country took from Ukraine in Crimea.
For the fourth consecutive year, California proclaims today as Indigenous Peoples Day. Governor Gavin Newsom tweeting, quote, "We honor and celebrate the perseverance, diversity, and contributions of all Indigenous peoples, from the first peoples of this place to those from across the globe who call California home." Today is World Mental Health Day, and a former ABC News anchor is spreading news how to take care of yourself. Here's ABC's Sherry Preston.
Dan Harris recently did a TED Talk where he talked about how important it is to not only be compassionate, but to be honest about your strengths and weaknesses.
If you want to get better at your relationships with other people, you need to have a better relationship with yourself.
During his TED Talk, Harris, who now runs his 10% Happier company full-time, says he did an exercise called a 360 review, where colleagues, family members, and meditation teachers give critiques that were at times tough to hear.
People talked about me being impatient, dismissive, emotionally guarded, not really showing my emotions, being rude sometimes, especially to junior staffers, which I did not see myself that way.
Harris says he was able to use that information to reflect, accept his flaws, and work toward making his relationships with others better. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Fans rally to the late Coolio's music catalog and send it surging more than 264% following his death.
I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been staying most of their lives, living in the gangster's paradise.
The rapper-born artist Ivy Jr. died on September 28th at age 59 due to a suspected cardiac arrest. His most popular hit, you just heard, Gangsta's Paradise, led the way in both streams and sales, and the former Billboard #1 returns to the charts this week. Last week, Coolio's songs registered 19.6 million on-demand streams. On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 93 points. 2:34 at KMJ. Valley weather right now, sunny, 90 at Radio City. The National Weather Service just sent out a flash flood warning, including Kern County. That lasts until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Fox 26's Justin Willis has more of our Monday forecast.
A chance for some mountain rain in the Sierra Nevada this afternoon, about a 20% chance with less than 1/10 of an inch expected. Some snow in the higher elevations. Also, starting your week off with afternoon highs well above normal. 91 in Fresno today, normal is 81. Upper 80s and a low 90s everywhere else, with overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. For KMJ, from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. In Fresno, McKinley Avenue and North Goldenrod, they are cleaning up now from a minor injury accident. In Hanford, Kansas Avenue between 12th and 14th, traffic hazard blocking the roadway. Expect some slowdown because of that. Also in Visalia, State Route 137 at Road 168. Got a non-injury accident there. Our next update, 2:47. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Chucky.
A new season is here, and with it, major delays being reported due to another killer doll with a shady plan. Just how many Chuckies are there? Chucky is here to chuck stuff up, including our freeways. Chucky Season 2, Wednesdays 9/8 Central, only on USA and Sci-Fi.
What's that noise? I don't know. It's coming from inside the house. It's all of our money. It's being summoned by high electric bills.
This could happen to anyone, but it doesn't have to be your story. You still have time to swap your system for an efficient AC or heater from Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Energy prices are terrifying right now, and saving on electricity is crucial to your survival. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating delivers a high-quality solution with an energy-efficient system at zero interest. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating offers zero interest and no payments for 18 months with no monthly payments, same as cash. You can also take advantage of great payment options and exclusive energy rebates. With 40 years of experience, Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is the one you can trust. Don't let the cost of electricity terrorize you. Call us now at 559-296-9555. That's 559-296-9555. CLN 635-355.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE. 844-53-BIBLE.
This report is sponsored by Goal Zero. Goal Zero, the leader in affordable home backup systems and solar generators. During a blackout, they can power your fridge, freezer, lights, Wi-Fi, TV, and more with clean power. Learn more at goalzero.com.
The Big Fresno Fair is back, October 5th through the 16th, with your favorite fair food carnival rides, live horse racing, and the Table Mountain Concert Series presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota. Buy early and save big. See all the ways to save at FresnoFair.com.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Brownie the Elf. It's this monstrously large logo that few people across the country knew even was existing on the planet. Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show for a few minutes, Nathan Segura.
I just want you to know, J.W. Johnson, our owner and executive vice president, told me he will be happy to send you a brownie hoodie.
I'm sure I can give it to a Brown fan because, what's the phrase? I wouldn't be caught dead in it. But,
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
It's the afternoon drive with Phillip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
I feel more informed when I listen.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Phillip.
.240 on the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. The situation out of Los Angeles just continues to expand. It's a worldwide story. The president of the Los Angeles City Council stepping down from her leadership role but refusing to vacate her council seat after an audio recording shared on the internet revealed last year her going to town, making racist comments about the black child of a white council member, indigenous immigrants, Oaxacans, the population, the demographics in Koreatown. I mean, this woman like hit the cycle. And I have to say, if it had been a white dude who had done this, he'd be out of a job right now.
Yeah, and I felt a little, I'll say it out loud in the previous break about that, but I do think that if I read, I'm going to read you the statement that was put out, and you tell me, I take responsibility for what I said, and there are no excuses for those comments. As a mother, I know better, and I am sorry. I am truly ashamed. So what? That's your apology? She said this was when she resigned from the leadership role, but she's not going to give up her seat at the table, which is incredibly... We're not talking about, like, no offense to my fun little cities around here or our little townships. Like, this is Los Angeles.
It's the number 2 market in the country. Yeah. It's a huge population. It's an incredible amount of money. It's a lot of people who are marching to your orders.
She's in charge, as she was at the time, and she had 4 officials in there strategizing about political redistricting, and nobody said anything to her because of her position of power.
So you had council member Kevin Bedsheet De Leon and Gil Cedillo in there. Then you had Ron Herrera, who's the president, or at least at the time was the president of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor. They don't know who made the recording. They don't know who posted it online. But nobody has disputed the authenticity of the recording.
Yeah. I'm always interested when that comes out because, I mean, at least you're not going to try and play stupid and say it was made up. But when they release this, the initial comments that came in from the council member was, well, that's illegal. You can't do that. Well, yeah. And then they said that the LA Times could be in trouble for printing it, right? To which LA Times said it's newsworthy, obviously. But if that was your answer, is, well, you can't be recording this stuff because that's illegal to record it, which is true, but come on.
So, but in terms of the publication and the dissemination of it, I mean, you know this, but just for the sake of clarification, in here while we're doing this, you and I have no expectation of privacy. We're literally standing in a room full of microphones. And for most of the time we're in here, we're talking into them, knowing that what we're saying is being sent out to everybody. So if I took my phone out and I hit the record button and set it down
I'm already
here.
paranoid about everything.
But
yeah.
No, if one of us does this, I'm the one who's getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm the one, you and I both know I'm the one who says all the inappropriate stuff. And it's really funny, and I wish I could share it with you guys, but until we get picked up by Sirius XM, I can't talk like that on the radio. But if I do that in this room without your permission, I'm still violating that two-party consent law. If somebody plants a bug in this room and takes that audio and puts it on the internet, and you can't prove I did it or Greg did it or whoever, it's just out there. It exists. If you can find out who's responsible, you can sue them.
Yeah, but good luck being able to track that down.
But in the meantime, if that were to happen and all of a sudden one of my really awesome stream of consciousness meltdowns about the equipment was made public and everybody found out what I call things sometimes, which involves usually a lot of F words, I'm not going to lose my job for calling the control board a bad name. I call Greg or Josh a bad name, I might get pulled into human resources. I start talking about your kids or Liz's kids in ethnic terms, I'm gone. They're going to fire me like that.
Or, I mean, actually, that's a good point to bring up, because if we're talking about serving an audience, right, or serving people, that's what she is supposed to do, right? Yeah. And meanwhile, as an elected, as the person who has been selected as the president, she is making broad stroke racist comments towards a population that is just as diverse as you can get. And so the fact that you get this, pardon my language, half-assed apology, oh, I'm a mom, I should know better. Girl, please. Stop weaponizing your tears and your motherhood if we're going to go all full woke here.
I'm sorry, if you're an adult, if you're an intellectually average adult existing in the world today, you know that you don't get to talk like this about other people.
No, and especially if you're doing this in the context of two of your other council members and somebody who's associated with the union in this case, so now they're all doing damage control. I should have said something. I shouldn't have. We don't condone this. Well, the question is, if you condone it behind the scenes, then that's where it really counts.
You know what, though? I'm on board with you. People who talk this way about other people on the basis of race, I don't think it's always about the race, but there's an ugliness there. There's a dismissive there of people who aren't like me. And I guess that at its simplest is racism. You're not like me. Your grandparents cooked different food than my grandparents, and therefore you mean less to me than the people who grew up in my culture. I mean, that's racism at its most basic, right? And you can take it out to hate, and you can take it out to fear, and you can extrapolate out in all the various directions that it goes. But what it really comes down to is you're not like me, and I don't want you near me, right?
Yeah, it's basic.
Again, I'm talking.
No, yeah, I get you. I like that comparison.
The question that Angelenos have to be asking themselves, and it has to be a real thought. One, if this person doesn't like black people and doesn't like Oaxacans and talks about how they're raising them like a little white kid, this kid needs a beat down, so she doesn't like white people, and she's completely dismissive of Koreatown, well, it's basically just an Oaxacan neighborhood, and, all of this. If she has so little regard for anybody who isn't like her, she's a racist. And if we call that out in any other context, we find that unacceptable as somebody who's elected to represent everybody in the district. And that's going to be weighed against, does this woman accomplish the goals that a majority of her constituents sent her to accomplish? Because if she's just a mouthy dope outside of the public eye, but she's actually meeting everybody's needs, do you let her get away with, as a mother, I should have known better?
Well, I guess it remains to be seen, because at this point she stepped down from the president of the council position, but not from her seat. And there are people that are protesting down in LA. We'll see how this starts to build and if it's going to build on a national level, because you don't get to come back from this. There's no place where you're the good guy in this. Saying you were frustrated and that's when you started bagging on a child and every other race but your own, or every other segment of population but your own, really doesn't lend well. I like this quote from the op-ed. It says, instead of taking responsibility for the underwhelming state of Latino political power, the four of them, just whined about their predicament and blamed everyone else.
Is that Gustavo?
Yes.
Yeah, guys, we're going to share a link to the op-ed from Gustavo Arellano. Like I said, there's a couple of comments that are going to, you'll furrow your brow. Broadly speaking, though, that might be one of the smartest writers working in Southern California. And he's got this thing pegged.
On the roadways, on eastbound 168 at Shields, right there on the on-ramp, there's a hazard that's causing some problems. On McKinley at North Goldenrod, minor injury accident, finally in the cleanup stages. Los Banos on westbound 152 at Dos Palos, right there at the Y, there's a non-injury accident. And Kansas Avenue between 12th and 14th at Hanford, look for a hazard blocking the roadway in that intersection as well. Next update is at 3:03. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Chucky.
A new season is here, and with it, major delays being reported due to another killer doll with a shady plan. Just how many Chuckies are there? Chucky is here to chuck stuff up, including our freeways. Chucky Season 2, Wednesdays 9/8 Central, only on USA and Sci-Fi.
A story of first downs and second chances. Meet former pro football player Michael Robinson.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
And all those big league experts couldn't help?
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
Finally, he got fitted with Good Feet arch supports.
Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
Sign up for your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
There are several people running for Clovis City Council, but there is only one with a proven record of protecting the Clovis way of life. That's current council member Drew Bessinger. Drew is a U.S. Army veteran and retired Clovis police captain. He has served as interim police chief for 3 Valley cities. Drew kept his promises of smart and controlled growth, supporting public safety, and helping local small business owners when they needed it most. Vote to re-elect Councilman Drew Bessinger. He's getting the job done.
This is Clovis Council Member Drew Bessinger. It's been an honor to serve you on the Clovis City Council. For nearly 30 years, I have served the citizens of Clovis, 22 years with the Clovis Police Department, and 5 years as your council member. I am proud of our accomplishments: smart growth, improved community safety, and a balanced city budget. While serving as mayor, we were hit by the COVID pandemic. We used common sense and reasonable precautions to protect our community while defending your personal freedoms and supporting our businesses. I'm Drew Bessinger, and I would appreciate your vote. Paid for by Drew Bessinger for Clovis City Council 2022.
Smart businesses are always looking for ways to improve. Better workdays can start with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps help make sure you have what you need when you need it. We'll stock your essential cleaning products, deliver hygienically clean workwear, inspect your fire extinguishers, and provide first aid and safety supplies. Cintas is with you every step of the way, so you stay a step ahead. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Okay, I just saved on some amazing fall style picks at Kohl's, and I need to talk about it. I found myself the cutest tops from Sonoma Goods for Life starting at $15.99. Long sleeve must-haves for my husband starting at under $18. And fun looks for my kids starting at just over $10. Plus, you can take an extra 20% off or save even more with a Kohl's card. So for more fall style and more savings, you gotta get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% offer ends October 16th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Today on Hey Culligan, cleaner, safer drinking water. We got Chris in Cleveland.
Hey Culligan, I have a water pitcher. Is that safe?
Basic water pitchers are, let's say, passable, but a Culligan reverse osmosis system can do way more and help reduce lead, arsenic, something called pesticide runoff.
Hey Culligan?
Yeah, Chris?
I'll take one of those reverse
osmosis to get the mostest out of your drinking water? Chris, we're already on the way.
Receive a free in-home water test by visiting CulliganFresnoLindsay.com.
Hey there, it's Greg Lane. Do you realize that Roger Vote has been serving the Central Valley for 40 plus years? They've created valuable relationships with the customers and is your dealership alternative for your Sprinter van services, repairs, and maintenance. And they are a full-service Sprinter facility and offer basic maintenance services and complete fluid exchanges. Other services are brakes, suspension, electrical, DX and CK engine lamp repairs, AC repairs, and complete emission DX repairs. And they've got 16 service bays, so it makes it really easy to get your Sprinter van service repaired quickly, and a courtesy shuttle always available. Their ASC master level technicians are always up to date in the latest state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment to keep your Sprinter van on the move. If you need regular maintenance service or repairs of any type, call Rose Libano or John Herreras at 559-635-3288 and they'll get the job done for you. Online at performanceautoandair.com to schedule your appointment. Roger Vote's Performance Auto Diesel and Air, one of the best things about living in Visalia.
It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Coming up at 3 o'clock, another chance to get one step closer to the $25,000 payoff with another keyword, and we'll tell you about taking this show on the road tomorrow for a little shindig we have planned. But we're talking about this hot mess coming out of Los Angeles, where the city council president, Nuri Martinez, has stepped down following release of audio from a meeting last year where she offended and mocked indigenous immigrants and the black child of a fellow council member. She's not going to step off the council, but she'll give up the president's role for now. That should be enough, Philip.
So Gustavo Arellano, formerly the columnist behind Ask a Mexican over at the OC Register, he's an excellent writer and just a really capable kind of social and political philosopher of a sort. I don't always agree with the guy, but I almost always enjoy his writing, and he went to town on this. He's got an article saying that Nuri Martinez's rant reveals the worst enemy of Latino political power, ourselves. And there's a passage in here that I think is particularly poignant in considering all of this. Arellano writes, when you have an elected Latina official use words to describe black people, children no less, and I'm not going to use the Spanish words because I'm not sure where they are on the scale of, this to the N word, but it translates as little monkeys and darkies. While no one else in the room pushes back, it shows the rot, pettiness, and paranoia that infests Los Angeles' Latino political class. The four waded in grievance politics straight out of Sam Yorty's City Hall. This was not a case of your Rancho Libertarian cousin from Corona drunkenly mouthing off during a backyard carne asada, or small-town politics in southeast LA County or the San Gabriel Valley. These are some of the most powerful politicians in Southern California and some of the most prominent Latino politicos in the United States.
Martinez is head of the city council of the second largest city in the United States. De Leon was the first Latino California Senate president pro tem in more than a century and placed third in the mayoral primary. Cedillo is an immigrants' rights legend, while Herrera is head of an organization with money and manpower to sway elections. They should know better than to say quiet things out loud, even in private, and that the fact that they don't isn't just frightening, but telling.
I think that anybody who has spent any time around political people, especially young, motivated, and frankly, sometimes arrogant political people, folks say things that are surprising and crass and sometimes even vulgar behind closed doors. I've been around political people now for over a decade as a part of my daily working life. I have never heard a politician talk like this, not racially and not about somebody's kids, man. That was always off limits. I mean, if nothing else, you praise the kids.
Yeah, he goes on to say that people are defending Martinez's use of these terms, saying she used the former in a sarcastic tone and the latter to describe rambunctious behavior, to which he responds, please.
Yeah. So she's out of the presidency voluntarily. You think there will be any kind of like an impeachment thing, any sort of big...
like a recall or something?
Yeah.
It could, because she's elected through 24.
Curious to see what comes next in Los Angeles. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Philip Teresi, Skip Echeverria, and your next $25,000 payoff. National keyword on the way. Sit tight.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Conserving water starts with a few simple water-saving actions at home and in your yard, like adjusting your sprinklers and adding drip irrigation so you water only where it's needed. We can all do our part to conserve water. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Save water, save California.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
Celebrating a century of broadcasting. News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM. KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Here's what's going on. 2 people injured after getting shot in Fresno. Police there say they received shot spotter notifications near Jensen and Garrett on South Walnut. Police say the man and woman on the roadway and a car pulled up next to them, then shot them. Police say a man in his 40s hit in his arm and upper torso. The woman in her 20s grazed by bullets on her shoulder and hip. Police investigating. Charges now brought against the man accused of kidnapping and murdering a family, including an 8-month-old baby girl. KMJ's Liz Kern has the latest filings from the Merced County DA's office.
48-year-old Jesus Manuel Salgado is being charged with 4 counts of murder for the kidnapping and slaying of the Merced family of 4. He's also being charged with arson after setting the family's truck on fire, as well as possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. There are also prior charges that are being added to the case. Salgado faces life in prison without the chance of parole. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
The city of Coalinga, about an hour southwest of Fresno, is in danger of running out of water as soon as the end of the year. Washington Post reports the town has 17,000 residents and a portion from an aqueduct which serves as its only water source. Should that supply run out, it's possible the city budget could take a hit as it would have to buy water on the open market. Meantime, meetings with state government officials ongoing. The Post notes residents expecting big jumps in their water bills and have begun to gather 5-gallon jugs for their own supply. The nation's 3rd largest railroad union has rejected a deal with freight railroads, and the potential impact could be devastating. ABC's Derek Dennis reports.
The Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employees Division Union has voted to oppose a new 5-year contract, even though it called for raises of 24% and $5,000 bonuses. The union's president says the railroads haven't done enough to address worker concerns over paid time off, including sick time and better working conditions. Rejecting the deal raises the possibility of a strike among all 12 of the nation's railroad unions, which have to ratify their contracts together to prevent a walkout. Otherwise, a strike could cripple the nation's economy by slowing down the supply chain of goods. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Starting your week off with afternoon highs well above normal. 91 in Fresno right now. Normal is 81, upper 80s and low 90s everywhere else, with overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. And a chance for some mountain rain in the Sierra Nevada, about a 20% chance with less than 1/10 of an inch expected this afternoon. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Fresno, eastbound 168 at Shields, we have a hazard in the roadway, and it's actually between Shields and Ashton, to be more exact. On State Route 122 at San Juan Road, this would be in Los Banos, a non-injury accident there. And finally in Visalia, Avenue 208 at Road 132, they're looking at a road hazard that's causing a bit of a slowdown. Next update is at 3:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
STOCK. STOCK. STOCK.
To 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
Call All-Britain now for your $129 complete furnace revitalization.
Makes your heater blow like it's young again.
Online at allbritain.com.
Supercharge your whole family's protection against COVID-19. Stop by the Big Fresno Fair on October 13th and 14th for free prizes and fun facts about vaccines and boosters. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
KMJ is celebrating our 100th anniversary. It's part of the Big Fresno Fair Table Mountain Concert Series, presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota, featuring Tower of Power. With special guests, the Appletones, and comedy legend Paul Rodriguez. Tuesday, October 11th, in the Paul Theater. Sponsored by American Pistachio Growers and Caglia Environmental. For tickets and more info on the big event, click on KMJNow.com. KMJ's Afternoon Drive at 490-5858.
And toll free at 800-776-5858.
It's an honor to speak to you, and I want to thank you for the education you've given me.
Hey, it's always good to talk to you. I'm listening to you all the time. You're always talking to me.
It's the Valley's Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Now, Philip and Skip.
3:05 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ Worldwide. You can listen at KMJNow.com. And if you like watching, find us on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.tv at Drive KMJ. A new hour means a new national keyword for the 25K payoff, brought to you locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Now, if you want all the rules, you can go to KMJNow.com to read them. If you want to play, don't text and drive, but send the national keyword to 95819. If you win $100 this hour, it puts you in the running for that $25,000 grand prize drawing. Skip, what is the national keyword for the 3 o'clock hour?
It is STOCK. STOCK. STOCK.
Text it to 95819. Good luck. All right, taking a Florida break here. Kinda. I'm not sure that this is actually a Florida thing so much as a yay for technology thing.
Or a whoops, didn't see that as being problematic thing.
Yeah. Hybrid internal combustion and electric vehicles are designed to be safe, even if fully submerged in the water. The idea being that if you have an accident and drive into a ditch or a lake or something, you don't kill yourself and all the fish with some kind of electrical issue. However, it turns out that extended submersion in salt water can mess with components in a way that was not previously anticipated, especially apparently in full electric vehicles, which means that as things are drying out in Florida, people are trying to move their Teslas.
Yeah, that damage from being submerged in salt water for long periods of time could result in electrical shorts and potential fire once it's drying out. This is especially problematic because electrical vehicle fires are hard to extinguish, which many departments across Southwest Florida are starting to realize right now.
Yeah, the South Trail Fire Protection and Rescue Service and the North Collier Fire Rescue District have both responded to multiple fires involving specifically Teslas.
Yeah, according to the Cape Coral Fire Department, if you have one of these vehicles and it was submerged in a saltwater storm surge, be sure to move it out of your garage and call the manufacturer for next steps. Like, they don't even know what to do with it. I mean, and in the defense of Tesla and even Elon Musk, like I could see how you weren't thinking about that because we weren't thinking about big giant storm surges and how does that work out?
Well, nobody buys a Tesla thinking that it's going to get destroyed in a flood.
Yeah.
Nobody buys anything thinking it's going to be destroyed in a flood. I do have a question, though, because they say if you have one of these vehicles and it was submerged, move it out of your garage and call for help. I've only been inside a Tesla vehicle a couple of times.
Same.
As far as I know, they don't have a transmission gear shift like in all the internal combustion cars we've all got. How do you put a Tesla in neutral without running power through it to tell the motors to unclamp from park mode?
Yeah.
How do you get the? I mean, I know a tow truck can hook up to it and drag it out of the garage.
Right, but what are you supposed to do to move that process along?
But if it's me, is it safe to turn it on that much to put it into neutral? Or if you activate the Tesla, is there a chance that you're going to
set something off once you get back into your house? It's already been flooded and now you need to get the car out of it. Yeah, that I was thinking about that. And then the other part of it too is who comes to work on these? Because while I know that they're starting to have folks that can work on these components and stuff, there isn't a plethora of Tesla shops because you're supposed to be able to drive these things a lot without needing all of the regular maintenance.
Yeah.
So what happens?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's one more reason for me to add to the list for why when California loses its mind and bans the sale of internal combustion vehicles, I'm going to end up driving to Nevada to buy a real car. Well, I don't want some rolling coal nonsense. I want like a used Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I'm pretty set on I want a used Ranger with a manual transmission. So when everything else goes kaput, I can push start it.
I even wonder if those are going to be available any longer other than just sports cars.
Oh, yeah. Manual transmissions will never die completely.
Never completely? It's super hard to rent anything but a manual transmission when you go out of the United. I mean, anything other. No. Yeah. To get an automatic in foreign countries is super hard.
Oh, really?
And they charge you premium price for it because that's how they know you're American.
Yeah, I'm perfectly content to drive stick. It gives it, for me anyways, it gives me a better sense of control over the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the road better when I'm interacting with it at that level. Only place I don't like driving stick?
Where?
San Francisco.
I was going to say anything with hills and mountains. I would get scared on those roads that you're stopped, but you're at a 45.
That was one thing about the Mitsubishi Mighty Max, because that was my... The Mighty Max. The Mighty Max is the greatest of compact pickups, and I wish Mitsubishi would bring it back. I'd buy 2 tomorrow if they brought it back. But the Mighty Max, I don't know if you remember the way the cab was laid out, but the handbrake, the emergency brake, was actually to the right of the steering wheel under the dash.
Okay.
So when I was driving this stupid thing in San Francisco, and you get on one of those, oh my God, is it going to flip over backwards hills? I would pull the handbrake and hold the handbrake with the car in first gear and the clutch in. So when it was time to go, I would release the brake while adjusting the gas and clutch to get the car rolling so I didn't dip backwards. Whereas a car that has like an e-brake on the floor, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that in an F-150.
Mm-mm.
So I want a manual. And I'm never going to live in San Francisco anyways because I'm not spending $6,000 a month for a view of the Coit Tower, for God's sake. Saw this pop through. Cyber attacks reported at American airports. The attacker identified as having come from within the Russian Federation. Here's the thing. They didn't mess with air traffic control. They didn't mess with like fueling systems, ticketing systems, anything like that. They were screwing around with public-facing information pages, like where you'd go to see if your flight was late or if you wanted to buy tickets.
Yeah, the source recognized it as an inconvenience. The attacks resulted in targeted denial of public access to those pages that would report wait times and congestion. Over a dozen airport websites were impacted by the denial of service attack. And basically, it just overloads these sites by jamming them with artificial users.
Yeah, it's a distributed denial of service attack, DDoS.
So is this something that's, okay, when you look at that and you say it's coming from Russia.
Yeah.
And okay, great. They didn't try and actively try and sabotage safety. Is this somebody that's playing around, seeing what they can get access to? So they're just poking around. Is this somebody who is bored in, I don't know, if you're bored in Russia and just looking for soft spots?
So they believe that this group, and this group is identified in this reporting, which I'm a little dubious on Killnet. They are usually these kinds of groups are fronts for state-backed actors. In this case, they say that they don't have evidence that the Russian government was involved in directing the attack. Well, no, because they're not going to post a sign saying Vladimir Putin told us to take out your wait time calculators. The other thing is the attack started happening at 3 o'clock in the morning. When everybody's trying to find out what time flights are getting in and out. Is there anybody at 3 o'clock in the morning checking flight times who's not already at the airport?
But these are big airports. LaGuardia, Chicago, Des Moines, Los Angeles.
This was to create a nuisance. And in my opinion, probably a nuisance designed to distract from a much smaller but more important effort by, if not this group, then one associated with them.
So a distraction.
Exactly.
Because the Fly LAX, for instance, is saying that no internal airport systems were compromised and there were no operational disruptions. So to me, I'm reading that as, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. See, we caught it. Now, this group, Killnet, has been active since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, targeting Ukrainian allies and recently claiming credit for taking down government websites in the U.S.
But that's the thing, is they're not really taking them down. They're just doing this denial of service thing that causes servers to reset and firewalls to go up. And it's an inconvenience. It's not destructive in the way that, I don't know, bombing Kyiv is.
Yeah, we'll get to that on the way.
And I really wonder, with the timing of this, if some idiot inside the Russian propaganda ministry didn't think that knocking down the flight time information at LaGuardia was somehow going to be a bigger story in this country than the continuing war crimes against Ukrainian civilians. Oh, well, if we make it really inconvenient for people in this one busy city to travel, everybody in the country will talk about that, instead of the part where we murdered a bunch of people because the Ukrainians blew up one of our supply lines.
I was thinking of it more as the freak out of, oh my gosh, there's a cyber attack on airports, and rather than the inconvenience thing, hoping that, I don't know, the 24-hour news media would take off on that of, oh my gosh, we are so vulnerable to further victimization.
We are vulnerable to further victimization. I am hopeful that this report, including the part where they say there was never any even effort to get into air traffic or ticketing or anything like that, I am hopeful that that's an indication that the security level on those networks is where it should be. There's anything that a man can lock, a man can unlock eventually. On a long enough timeline, every password can be compromised. I'd like to think that they're taking flight data at least as seriously as checking accounts, you know?
Mm-hmm. One would hope. We'll come back, though, with an update on what did happen in Ukraine, because we saw the bombing of a strategic bridge to Crimea, and now Putin and his forces are hitting back, and war crimes is an accurate description of their said activity.
While we are at it, the 25K payoff gave out another national keyword just a couple of minutes ago. In the 3 o'clock hour, it's the word stock, S-T-O-C-K. Text it to 95819. You can win $100 this hour if you do. Puts you in the running for the 25K payoff. That's why we call the contest that. If you need to know more, go to KMJNow.com.
All righty. In Hanford, Kansas Avenue, at 12th Avenue, they have another hazard in the roadway. There was one just there. Now there's another one. Visalia Avenue 208 at Road 132. Another hazard being reported, but not exactly a lot of information other than slow-moving traffic. Coalinga, Highway 41 at State Route 33. Watch out, a couple mattresses in the roadway. Next update, 3:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Live. Local. KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small businesses create bold signs to make big impressions. Right now, get $10 off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. Offer ends 12/31. Visit staples.com/thisisyoursign for details. This is your sign to print big at Staples.
This is Sheriff Margaret Mims. Please vote to elect Diane Pierce to the Clovis City Council. I'm endorsing Diane because of her no-nonsense support of public safety. Diane understands the primary role of local government is for the safety of our citizens. Her commitment to law enforcement will keep schools, businesses, and neighborhoods safe. That is why Clovis business owners, Assemblyman Jim Patterson, Supervisor Nathan Magsig, and me, Sheriff Margaret Mims, are supporting Diane Pierce for Clovis City Council. Thank you.
This is Supervisor Nathan Magsig. I'm supporting Diane Pierce for Clovis City Council. Diane is a small business owner and community volunteer. Her core values of community, family, and safety, and her ability to work with others will help advance our city council while protecting our Clovis way of life. I know Diane, and she will make a great council member. Please join me, Supervisor Nathan Magsig, and vote Diane Pierce for Clovis City Council.
Paid for by Diane Pierce for Clovis City Council 2022.
Inflation is up more than 8% and interest rates rose again. This is Christina Musan. More Americans are worried about when will government clean up its act. Maybe Congress should call Closets by Design because they bring common sense solutions to disorganized spaces. From closets to offices, pantries, and garages, Washington, D.C. could use their help. Right now, Closets by Design is trying to help you tackle inflation with its fall special. 40% off and 18 months interest-free financing. That means lock in the price today. Pay for it over the next 18 months, and when inflation goes up, the price of your system won't. That's better problem solving than what the White House is giving us these days. So put Closets by Design to work. Give them a call at 453-7034. That's 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine your government, home, beautifully organized.
We run our AC pretty much all summer long. Our electric bills are pretty high.
I'm concerned about the condition of our infrastructure.
Recently in California with the fires, they said that they're going to shut off the power and it could be shut off for longer periods than usual.
I looked at our electric bills and they keep going up and up and up.
We had to find a solution to our energy bill.
Your home is an ecosystem. Solar power, battery storage, and efficient air conditioning all work together to ensure your house is comfortable, protected, and self-sustaining. Save today and prepare for tomorrow with Semper 360, the all-in-one home energy solution.
The savings are better than what I expected.
I said, I want the 18. This was the 18.
From the beginning to the end, they have been the best.
Declare your energy independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar, battery, and air contractor. Take advantage of the 30% federal solar tax credit. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months. For all offers, call 559-242-1800 or visit sempersolaris.com. Expires October 31st, 2022. CSLB 97815.
In Sacramento, a pattern of political corruption, scandals, pay-to-play schemes, and Rudy Salas is cashing in. Rudy Salas backed a plan to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon, costing us more every time we fill up the tank. Salas even voted against temporary gas tax relief for families. His reward? A lavish spring break trip from a group that supports higher gas prices. In another case, Salas took thousands from powerful drug companies and then voted to increase the cost of life-saving drugs cancer patients need. Salas even took a luxury vacation to China that was paid for by a group that promotes the Chinese Communist agenda. Corruption, scandal, pay to play. Rudy Salas looks out for himself, and we get the bill.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Valadeo for Congress, authorized by David Valadeo.
Hey, you got a tickle in your schnoz? Call Dr. Boz. Click BozAllergy.com. Boz, B-A-Z. BozAllergy.com.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Brownie the Elf. It's this monstrously large logo that few people across the country knew even was existing on the planet. Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show for a few minutes, Nathan Segura.
I just want you to know, yes. J.W. Johnson, our owner and executive vice president, told me he will be happy to send you a Brownie hoodie.
I'm sure I can give it to a Brown fan because, what's the phrase? I wouldn't be caught dead in it. But,
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
The afternoon drive on KMJ. That's Philip. I'm Skip. If you haven't done it yet, you need to text the word STOCK, S-T-O-C-K, STOCK, to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff, brought to you by Chick Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Contest rules at KMJNow.com. Russia, over the weekend, blatantly throwing out any rules about, where you're supposed to push back on the country that you're trying to illegally take over. Lethal strikes on multiple Ukrainian cities, including the capital. These are the biggest strikes since February.
Yeah. Putin has said that he's describing it as Kyiv's terrorist actions, including the Ukrainians blowing up a supply line bridge that had allowed Russia to continue posting forces in Crimea. They called the Ukrainians terrorists, and then they bombed people trying to commute to work. They blew up civilians driving around. One bomb hit within a stone's throw of a playground.
Yeah, the Putin said that in a video that he put out on a call with members of Russia's Security Council, that they launched precision weapons from air, sea, and ground to target key energy and military command facilities. However, those, quote, precision weapons then hit critical infrastructures and residential areas. I think proving that they just don't care. Are they purposely aiming for the civilians?
Yeah, they're trying to create as much terror, as much pushback internally. They'd like to see dissent, get the Ukrainian people to tell Zelensky they don't want to fight anymore. Just let us be part of Russia. And I don't think that Putin has any earthly clue how normal human beings react to bullies.
Well, and I think it speaks to the level of desperation, because he had just announced, all of this voting, supposedly free democratic process that was going to annex certain parts of Ukraine. And then Ukrainians came in and took over areas and liberated areas that had been under Russian occupation. So then you get the momentum of the bridge being blown up. And one of the ways that's been interesting to watch is not only is Ukraine doing this stuff physically on the ground, or from the air, or however they're managing to pull it off, then they are taking to the internet and doing next level trolling through the Department of Defense. So I think you have a guy whose ego, even though it's protected by a lot of people willing to lie to him, sees this as his acts of desperation, targeting areas like their symbolic downtown, as you mentioned, places where folks are living and just trying to go about work.
Yeah, they hit the Klitschenko Bridge, which is this landmark in central Kyiv. It's glass panel, a beautiful bridge. And there was closed-circuit television footage that made it out that shows the bridge being targeted, the huge explosion, and a man running away off of the broken bridge after the blast. Again, here we go with, it's precision, except you're shooting at civilians. Lisa Vasilenko is a member of the Ukrainian parliament. She shared a photo of an explosion near the main building of Kyiv National University. So college kids, again, with your precision targeting.
Yeah. The general staff of the Ukraine Armed Forces said 75 missiles were fired against Ukrainian targets, with 41 of them neutralized by air defenses. But these were all targeted towards civilian areas and energy facilities in 10 cities. Zelensky said the Russians chose such a time and such targets on purpose to inflict the most damage.
So obviously a big part of this is a pushback on the bombing of the Kerch Bridge, which, by the way, has not been formally claimed as a Ukrainian military endeavor. There seems to be a little bit of footsie going on in terms of who actually did it. Mm-hmm. Although the way this has been reported, as I've seen it in several stories now, it seems very obvious that it's Ukrainian guerrillas cutting off Russian supply lines to Crimea.
But not necessarily Zelensky and the frontline forces.
That's the implication, is that this is something outside of Zelensky and the Ukrainian regular military apparatus. The usual sort of condemnations are coming out. Olaf Scholz from Germany says that the G7 is going to have a talk about where to go with this, that being the group of 7 industrial powers. The French president, Emmanuel Macron, said he's expressing extreme concern because the strikes caused civilian casualties. He's renewing his pledge of more military aid. The British Foreign Secretary said that this is unacceptable. Thank you. The last that I had heard in terms of Ukraine and its relationship with NATO, Vladimir Zelensky had started an accelerated emergency petition to become a NATO member. At this point, considering how extreme the violence is and how blatant the war crimes are, does becoming a NATO member change anything? Will we look at this as Article 6, Article 7 violation and go in there?
Well, so NATO has come out and condemned the, quote, horrific Russian attacks. But I don't know if NATO is going to allow Ukraine in, because isn't part of the rules of NATO that if you attack one, you've attacked all. And so then therefore everybody else needs to get involved as well. Yeah. So while they may be seeing it and condemning it and, we'll work through the process a little faster than usual, I don't know that you're going to see the members of NATO want to jump in to send people there. And how much more money can we send?
Well, we just print it when we need it, so we'll be fine.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller. In the KMJ News Center, the man charged with kidnapping and murdering a family of 4 in Merced expected to appear in court today. Jesus Salgado was charged with 4 counts of murder. Merced County Sheriff Vern Warnke states the family of 4 found dead last Wednesday. Jesus Salgado was a former employee who used to drive for the victim's trucking company. Salgado was officially booked into the Merced County Jail on 4 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of murder. His brother Alberto expected to be charged on criminal conspiracy, accessory, and destroying evidence charges. President of the LA City Council, Nuri Martinez, resigns today after she was caught on tape using racial slurs directed towards the son of a fellow council member. And KABC reporter Leanne Suter has the story.
Protesters rally in front of Nuri Martinez's home demanding her resignation after the council president was recorded calling Councilman Mike Bonin's young son a racial slur in Spanish then making other derogatory remarks about the boy who is black.
Really disgusted and disappointed and embarrassed.
Audio of Martinez making numerous inflammatory remarks posted online by Knock LA. Bonin posting on social media he's hurt that one of his son's earliest encounters with overt racism comes from some of the most powerful public officials in LA. Martinez apologizing for the comments, saying in a statement, quote, "In a moment of intense frustration and anger, I let the situation get the best of me. For that, I am sorry."
Governor Newsom putting out a statement saying in part, quote, "Words matter and racist language can do real harm. These comments have no place in our state or in our politics." Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Starting your week off with afternoon highs well above normal. 91 in Fresno right now. Normal is 81, upper 80s and low 90s everywhere else, with overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. And a chance for some mountain rain in the Sierra Nevada, about a 20% chance with less than 1/10 of an inch expected this afternoon. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thanks, Jim. Highway 41 to State Route 33. This would be in the Coalinga area. They're dealing with some mattresses in the roadway causing a hazard. Los Banos on State Route 152 at San Juan Road. Got a non-injury accident just occurring. Don't have a lot of detail about that. Next update, 3:47. I'm Greg Lay with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Southern California Edison. Southern California Edison. Make plans to stay safe in an emergency or a public safety power shutoff. Have a shared plan for you and your loved ones. And sign up for outage alerts. Start today at SCE.com/be prepared.
The Protection Pack has your back. COVID-19 vaccines and boosters can help keep your whole family safer from serious illness, hospitalization, and death. Stop by the Big Fresno Fair on October 13th and 14th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Learn more about how we can all team up to protect our community and beat the virus. Come for the facts and stay for the fun. You might even win some prizes while you're there. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This report is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. No job is too big or too small for Roto-Rooter. Dripping faucet, full sewer line replacement, or maybe your water heater no longer makes hot water. Roto-Rooter has you covered. They even do trenchless repairs that won't destroy your landscape. Call 1-800-GET-ROTO, online at rotorooterca.com.
American pistachio growers celebrating the harvest by giving away locally grown pistachios at KMJ's 100th anniversary party October 11th at the Big Fresno Fair. See you there, and let's go nuts.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
It's the afternoon drive with Phillip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
It's a source I can trust.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Phillip.
That's Skip Echeverria. I'm Philip Teresi. You're listening to the Afternoon Drive on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Worldwide, always at KMJNow.com. If you missed any part of the show, you can always get podcasts at KMJNow.com with Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, really any of the better podcast providers. If you just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive, you will find all kinds of great stuff. This is a weird one. I'm not sure exactly which building this is, and I'm sure that my Oakhurst folks could probably tell me. But based on the information given, I'm thinking either this guy was on top of Central Valley Community Bank or he was like on top of the Love Cafe. But we're talking about the 40,000 block of Highway 41 in Oakhurst, where Madera County deputies were dispatched on Sunday afternoon to reports of a man on the roof of a building acting erratic and jumping up and down.
Yeah, so this is going to be the corner of 49 and 41 in Oakhurst.
Oh, so it's actually a little deeper into Oakhurst.
Yeah,
okay.
So depending on what corner you're on here, it looks like this is going to be commercial areas. So the corners of Chase Mortgage is on one side, AutoZone, Yosemite Mortgage, that shopping center with the Taco Bell and Round Table Pizza and everything that goes up that way. But it sounds to me like a multiple unit spot.
Yeah, maybe where Beltone Hearing Aids is. Yeah.
And this guy got up on the top of the building, was acting erratic and jumping around, then barricaded himself inside a bathroom where he could be heard screaming and breaking things inside.
He trashed the John. The toilet was smashed so badly it was causing major flooding. He also smashed the mirror, light fixtures, kicked a hole in the wall. He was just going nuts in there. They eventually had to tase him. After they talked him into coming out of the bathroom, they still had to give him the zappy zap to get him to calm down enough to put handcuffs on. The thing that is not mentioned in this story, and they do eventually identify him as a 37-year-old man from Louisiana, there's nothing in here about drugs.
So
there's no mention of drugs.
Yeah.
There's no charges about drugs.
Yeah.
Because they'll usually throw it in there like possession of meth or something.
Yeah. Well, so the charges include felony resisting an executive officer, misdemeanor battery on a police officer, felony vandalism, and felony burglary. I think what you're seeing here is a moment to figure out what's going on, because if this is somebody that's truly psychotic, let's say they're having a psychotic episode related to like a mood disorder or schizophrenia, something like that, then you're not necessarily going to see illicit drugs in their system. However, they don't reference that this guy is having a mental health crisis, right? They're just saying that he is cuckoo, right? Just way out there. One of the things that newer versions of meth are causing is increased levels of psychosis and things on par with what looks like schizophrenia, in the way that, if you can believe this or not, new meth that's made without the old pseudoephedrine, like shake and bake method, is actually dirtier than the old meth.
This is the production style I've heard called P2P.
Yes, and this was made because they started taking pseudoephedrine off the market. It was harder to get, and then even for a while there, you could actually order it's ephedrine, right? I think directly from China. But then they changed that. That wasn't only until recently, by the way. And I came to find out we are right in the hotbed of where this hot mess happened. So the newer way to make meth, one, is super cheap. A lot of it comes up from Mexico, and a lot of people, in light of the opioid epidemic and fear of fentanyl, moved over to meth, which usually doesn't happen, because people who use downers don't usually use uppers and back and forth. But this meth is so plentiful and so cheap, people have. And so the timeline actually coincides exactly with the uptick in our homelessness population in California. Yeah, and this is an interesting thing that people aren't talking about when we talk about the homelessness thing. And me as a mental health professional, I've been guilty of this myself, right? Well, schizophrenic people that are really, really mentally ill don't tend to be the violent ones, and they don't tend to be the people that are out there causing trouble. But people are getting this way because of P2P meth.
I want to walk that back just a half a breath here. Naturally occurring organic schizophrenics and folks in that realm,
yes,
generally speaking, in the majority are nonviolent. They might be a little bit odd, a little bit quirky. They might be scary to somebody who doesn't understand why this person's talking about the gerbils telling him to cross the street. But they're more likely to be a victim of a crime than a perpetrator of a crime. Are the people who are turning themselves into schizophrenics, very, very broadly speaking, forgive my layperson's way of phrasing it, the people who are smoking themselves nuts, are they also nonviolent potential victims, or are they climbing up on top of O'Reilly Auto Parts, doing the paso doble and then going in the bathroom and kicking all the fixtures off the wall?
My understanding is the latter. So and an increase in violent behavior and an inability to rein it back in, right? So like, oh my gosh, the cops are here, I need to calm down, or something like that. And so that's why I'm wondering here, and it is strangely absent from the reporting. Might not have had anything on it, might have just been super high. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe we're wrong and this is somebody who is having a mental health struggle here, but typically, like, you have got to be way out of touch with reality that you just bashed up a bathroom, bashed up yourself because they had to go to the hospital for the injuries that they had.
Yeah.
At some point, just being in pain should have stopped you. It didn't. And then you had to have cops use a taser. And in the photo, I mean, I don't know if this is the photo from the most recent booking. He's not messed up in this one.
No, that can't possibly be. No, they say that is a picture from Madera County. So if he went to the hospital, it was probably to check to see if he was
his hands and
acutely intoxicated.
Yeah.
Run a blood panel, see what this guy's got in his system.
But it was an interesting thing, if you don't mind me kind of nerding out on the P2P meth thing, because I've always been, as a professional, thought, okay, if you want to get people better, you need to get them help. They need to get into treatment, and they need to have that sort of like kind of come to Jesus moment or whatever you're going to call it. Well, in the reporting that this was talking about in this book, it was talking about that people completely disengage the part of their brain that makes them hit the rock bottom. They'll keep using until they die.
Yeah.
Right. And that traditional methods of trying to get people sober through, a couple, go through a detox, then go through a quick residential and get back out. That doesn't work, because part of therapy and getting people in recovery is having human connections. And they were saying for like 6 months, sometimes these people have like no access to human connections. So how are you even supposed to get through to them to tell them that drugs are bad, let's find something else for you, if your brain is so fried on these things?
Well, okay, so let's take this back to Newsom's CARES Act.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an estimate at one point that of the entire homeless population in the state of California, there was something to the magnitude of like 15,000
Yeah, I think it was actually 12. It was pretty low, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, but we're talking about a tiny number of human beings relative to homelessness, and certainly relative to the population of the state. Are these people, in your opinion, going to become wards of that CARES program? And is that what's needed? We are going to take you and we are going to effectively incarcerate you, and we are going to medicate you and care for you until this crap is run out of your system and you're a person again. I
think that the 12,000 that are going to be impacted by the CARES Act are going to be more likely to be the people that have actually organic issues related to their mental health and not brought on by significant drug use. Because that's the thing about things like schizophrenia and whatnot. it's usually by late 20s, you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Right? So people that have had, and that's what they've said, especially with this meth use, and it's so interesting moving away into the meth from fear of, the fentanyl. People don't just get that way in their 40s or late 30s. It's going to be because of a drug-induced type of psychosis or whatnot. So to the question of cares, I think that has a place. But we really got to look at the drug use, particularly meth, if we're going to do anything about homelessness, because just getting them in a sober place isn't going to be enough.
No, it's you're talking about people who have unwittingly, voluntarily rewired their brains.
Yeah. But no one's talking about that, which I was, you can't just say, oh, drug use and mental health, because in this case, you do need to separate that out a bit, because we're talking about like really significant differences in approaches.
Boy, time to try something different, huh? Maybe start sitting everybody down, showing them train spotting. Let them learn about the baby. Maybe that'll keep people from doing this to themselves.
In Fresno, we have on East Belmont Avenue at North Fowler, hit-and-run non-injury accident being reported there. Also another hazard in Visalia. This is on northbound 99, south of the 198. Got a hazard in the roadway there. Our next update, 4:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by In-N-Out Burger.
At In-N-Out, our hamburgers are made with the highest quality ingredients, made fresh and by hand, made with a smile, and made to order just for you.
Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Conserving water starts with a few simple water-saving actions at home and in your yard, like adjusting your sprinklers and adding drip irrigation so you water only where it's needed. We can all do our part to conserve water. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Save water, save California.
Hello, this is Mary Jo Jacobson, CEO at San Joaquin Valley Rehabilitation Hospital. Did you know that falls are the leading cause of a traumatic brain injury, and that a concussion is caused when the brain receives trauma from an impact? This trauma may or may not cause you to lose unconsciousness. At San Joaquin Valley Rehabilitation Hospital, we provide comprehensive and effective inpatient rehabilitation to maximize recovery from physical, cognitive, and psychological impairments caused by a traumatic brain injury or a concussion. Our brain injury rehabilitation team works collaboratively in designing and implementing a treatment program, assessing its outcome, and preparing you and your family for the next phase in the rehabilitation process. Patients can continue their treatment program at one of our 5 outpatient clinics. To learn more about our inpatient brain injury rehabilitation program or our outpatient program, call 559-436-3600 or visit our website at sjvrehab.com. San Joaquin Valley Rehabilitation Hospital. We're here so you can get back to better.
KMJ is celebrating our 100th anniversary. It's part of the Big Fresno Fair Table Mountain Concert Series, presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota, featuring Tower of Power. With special guests, the Appletones, and comedy legend Paul Rodriguez. Tuesday, October 11th, in the Paul Theater. Sponsored by American Pistachio Growers and Caglia Environmental. For tickets and more info on the big event, click on KMJNow.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE. 844-53-BIBLE.
You like numbers? How about the number one real estate team in Fresno since 2011? The Zuber team with Real Broker. Hey, they've sold like almost 7,000 homes since 1971. Darren and Daryl have hundreds of 5-star reviews between Google and Zillow. And they have over 51 years of experience in real estate. That'll tell you something. Hey, and last year, 2021, they sold under 300 homes. Sweet. This team really is innovative. Ask about the trade-up program. No worry about 2 mortgages. No worries about losing your dream home while you wait for your current home to sell. Ask about an instant cash offer. That's a biggie. You know, there's a million reasons why you might want or need to get an instant offer. They will buy your home. Maybe you're moving out of state. You need the money now. You got to get out of Dodge. They'll take care of it. Click ZuberTeam.com. Google Zuber Team. Hey, if I had to sell my place, who do you think I'd use? The Zuber Team, of course.
License number 1213700.
The afternoon drive on KMJ. That's Philip. I'm Skip. Coming up after 4 o'clock, we'll have another chance for you to get in on the $25,000 payoff. But since we were talking about hot messes related to incredible amounts of drugs being readily available, let's go down to Santa Ana, California, where a Southern California doctor has pleaded guilty to writing prescriptions for more than, count 'em, 120,000 opioid pills over a 6-year span.
So it looks like the way that this guy got caught is a man who killed an off-duty firefighter who was training on his bike. He was training for a triathlon. When he got caught, he told investigators that he was on drugs prescribed by Dr. Pham, and several bottles, prescription bottles, with that doctor's name were found in the DUI driver's car.
Pham faces up to 20 years in federal prison when he is going to be sentenced in January. From January 1st, 2013 to December 17, 2018, Pham wrote prescriptions for around 53,000 oxycodone pills, 68,000 hydrocodone pills, and 29,000 pills of amphetamine salts. Those are used for like ADHD.
Yeah.
And
that would be like Adderall, right?
Yeah, some of those. Using 18 different patient names.
So 18 different patient names translating to 120,000 various opioid pills. Needless to say, big pharmacies like CVS stopped accepting his prescriptions when he couldn't justify the number of pills being picked up by patients.
That's when he conspired with a pharmacist who has also entered a guilty plea for the same felony charges last month.
Jennifer Thoyen Wen is her name. She's also pled guilty. And so Pham would direct his patients to Wen's pharmacy to fill the scripts because he knew that other pharmacies weren't going to do it.
One of those people is the person that fatally struck the off-duty firefighter training on his bike for a triathlon.
Yeah, that was the firefighter was Costa Mesa Fire Captain Mike Kreza. Pham was not charged in that man's death. There's a part of me that says, why not? But in any event, this led to him ultimately entering this plea and facing this sentence. You get a big pharmacy like CVS that looks at this and says this pattern's not normal. Especially with this kind of stuff. Is there something to be said when you get into I'm talking about oxycodone. I'm not talking about, Tylenol with codeine. I don't think anybody's using that to get high. Is there something to be said for a national registry? So if you have a single doctor writing scripts, I mean, we're 18 people on 120,000 pills.
There have been some some moves towards that, but it's also important to recognize that this is around 10 years after Purdue Pharma got in trouble for all of their pushing of OxyContin, which was their name brand market. So 10 years later, they were still up to the same thing, pushing folks just like this. This is one story in California. This is nothing compared to what was going on back east.
I hope they throw the book at this guy.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Finally, it's here. Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. Now, this is brand new. It's going to take Lou a little time to get it together, like the patio. The patio gear is not here yet, but it will be soon. But Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium, very easy to find, right next to Fashion Furniture across the street from Lowe's. Lou's new business is huge, with a very special emphasis on the Amish. You are really going to be blown away. Lou carries multiple lines of Amish furniture for every single room in your house. Buy it. Take it with you right now. Or special orders in the size, the color, the type of wood, handcrafted furniture design that will expressly be yours and no one else's. And he will beat any price. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, right next to Fashion Furniture, across from Lowe's, 7 days a week. The guy never takes a break. You ain't seen nothing like it. Recently, I had the dreaded COVID that I've been ducking for 2 years. The first time I've had it, and my God, it better be the only time because it was awful. As a patient of Dr. Boz at the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers, he took care of me, and he took care of me very well. But something else is now upon us that most of us deal with in this valley. It's fall. It's the allergies. It's asthma. It's sinus problems. They're already here. And shall I add to all of this really good news? Yeah, right. Good news, tongue-in-cheek. Flu season. It's upon us. Get a flu shot, please. Something I do religiously every year. And I haven't grown another head. No worries there. Hey, the symptoms are common, coughing, wheezing, tightness in the chest, headache, and fever. And when that happens, it's the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers, and they're everywhere. Click BozAllergy.com. Boz is B-A-Z. You'll find the nearest location to you. Then you can stop suffering. The Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers will make that diagnosis. They'll get it right, and they'll give you the proper treatment right now.
The Big Fresno Fair is back, October 5th through the 16th, with your favorite fair food carnival rides, live horse racing, and the Table Mountain Concert Series presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota. Buy early and save big. See all the ways to save at FresnoFair.com.
From the grapevine to the bay, News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ. Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Andy Field. Russian President Vladimir Putin confirming attacks on civilian areas of Ukraine are retaliation for a weekend attack on a critical bridge connecting Russia and Crimea. ABC's Britt Clenard is in Ukraine.
Those first waves of strikes happening during the Monday morning rush hour. Hundreds of people commuting to work or dropping their kids off at school. And that's what makes this so chilling and full of terror. There were attacks on infrastructure, but also on civilian areas with no apparent strategic or military significance.
Permanent representative of Ukraine, Ambassador Sergei Kryslitsa, at a UN General Assembly emergency session.
Russia has already killed some of my family members, and we see no end to that cruelty.
More than 80 missiles and 24 drones targeted at least 10 Ukrainian cities. Some of the biggest airports in the U.S. victims of a coordinated cyber attack. John Hultquist is head of intelligence analyst at cybersecurity firm Mandiant, tells ABC News the denial of service attacked public-facing sites.
It's essentially superficial. It doesn't necessarily mean that any back-end resources are being affected or data is being lost or anything exactly like operations have been affected in any way.
A senior official briefed on the incident says the attack originated from within the Russian Federation. Dozens of FBI agents are in Savannah, Georgia, helping search for 20-month-old Quentin Simon, who vanished from his home last Wednesday. Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley.
We believe with the continued assistance of the FBI, we will have a resolution to this case. We understand that people far beyond Chatham County have become emotionally invested in this incident and the search for Quentin, and they want answers.
Hadley says everyone that had contact with Quentin is being interviewed. This is ABC News.
Set your trees and vines up for your next growing season with K-Road 23 from Crop Vitality, the makers of KTS and CATS. K-Road 23 is an effective liquid potassium fertilizer that should be applied during the crucial post-harvest recovery period. K-Road 23's versatility and safety make it the natural choice among growers and advisors. Help your trees build the strength they need with applications of K-Road 23. Learn more at cropvitality.com.
Hey Fresno, Dave Isay from StoryCorps here. Did you know that 9 out of 10 Americans are exhausted by toxic polarization and looking for a way out? One Small Step pairs people with different beliefs for a conversation about life, not politics, to remind us that people with opposing views can respect each other, even like each other. How about that? Let's come together to feel less torn apart. Join us at takeonesmallstep.org/Fresno.
Depending on where you live, today is either Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day.
Many communities are still wrestling with how best to honor or at least to acknowledge the 15th century explorer once credited with discovering America. Lawsuits over monuments and tributes to Columbus are playing out in several courthouses. Meanwhile, in a growing number of U.S. communities, formal ceremonies and celebrations today will recognize the indigenous Americans who were here centuries before the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria set sail. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
13 years after a Rio to Paris plane crashed in the Atlantic, a criminal trial begins. The heads of both Air France and Airbus pleading not guilty to involuntary manslaughter. What was once named Hurricane Julia has inundated Guatemala and El Salvador with torrential rains after hitting Nicaragua. 19 people killed in the storm. The Carolina Panthers have fired coach Matt Rule 5 games into his third losing season. Andy Field, ABC News.
Out on the roadways right now in Fresno on East Belmont at North Fowler. Got a non-injury accident being reported there. Also, we have a problem on northbound 99. There is a big rig that's losing rocks. This is on northbound 99 south of the 198. This is definitely causing some problems in the roadway. Next update, 417, Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
WAGE, W-A-G-E, WAGE,
to 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25,000. Don't text and drive. Contest details at kmjnow.com.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wilson with Wilson's Power Sports, located in Madera, California. My husband Bob and I have been working with Cumulus Media for over 5 years. Within the last 2 months, we started working with Cumulus's digital department and are extremely pleased with their results on Cumulus Boost and search engine marketing.
Find out more. Go to cumulusboost.com. We'll get you a free website audit along with all the details of Boost. cumulusboost.com. Boost from Cumulus Media.
Chuck Chansey Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California. And now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive at 490-5858 and toll free at 800-776-5858.
Long-time listener, about 40 years. It's got to be something totally stupid to get me to call in.
I congratulate you and Skip on being willing to be independent politically. It's a rare thing these days, especially in radio. How in the hell are you ever going to get somebody to agree with you when they're paid to disagree?
Now, Philip and Skip.
Love your show. Listen to you every once in a while.
It's 4:06 at News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM. Worldwide, you can hear us at KMJNow.com. That's Philip Teresi. I'm Philip Teresi. That's Skip Echeverria. It's 4 o'clock on a Monday. What do you want? 25K payoffs in play, a new national keyword. We give it to you every hour, weekdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. When you text it to 95819, you could win $100. If you do, you're in the running for the $25,000 grand prize drawing. If you want to know how it all works, contest rules are at KMJNow.com. What is the national keyword they're texting to 95819 this hour?
This hour, it's wage. W-A-G-E, wage.
Text it to 95819. Don't forget the 25K payoffs brought to you locally by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. This is being reported very differently depending upon where you get your news. I am choosing to use the Fox News reporting on this, as the Polk County, Florida Sheriff Grady Judd made the controversial comments while he was talking to Fox and Friends on Friday, discussing the influx of looters who are taking advantage of people who have been harmed and displaced by Hurricane Ian. The sheriff said, I can tell you that I was down there with my colleague, Sheriff Marciano, this weekend. It's total devastation, and people have a right to be safe in their homes. They have a right for their property to be safe, even when part of their home may be torn away. These looters are unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable.
And this is where it picks up, because up until that point, you're right. You're the sheriff. It's war-torn. If my house was ravaged by a hurricane or by a fire or any other situation, I would say this guy, he's got it. He's right. Then he continues. Mm-hmm. I would highly suggest that if a looter breaks into your home, comes into your home while you're there to steal stuff, that you take your gun and you shoot him, said the sheriff. You shoot him so that he looks like grated cheese. Because you know what? That's one looter that won't break in anyone else's home and take advantage of them when they're their most vulnerable and most weak.
You know what my problem with his statement is? He flubbed the line. It's not grated cheese, it's Swiss cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, he was feeling passionate in the moment. That's not, we call it sprinkled cheese in my house. We don't call it grated cheese, but Swiss cheese, wholes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I get where he's coming from. Yeah, we call it sprinkled cheese. It's something the kids called it a long time ago. It's cute.
I understand.
And then I would let them order it that way, like when we go to the restaurants, because it was cute. They just looked kind of dumb, but it was endearing. I get sprinkled cheese. I understand what he's saying about stand your ground, protect your property. I do think, though, that it dismisses a little bit of the intensity that would come from having to defend yourself from people looting your house and having to make the decision to shoot at a human being, even if you were really, really mad at him for taking your stuff.
It was not uncommon at one point in this country, if somebody was caught rustling cattle or stealing horses, that they would simply be hung by the neck until dead.
Yeah.
And that was how you dealt with people who went out and stole other people's stuff, especially stuff that was essential to them maintaining their livelihood. Now, I'm no fan of vigilante justice. I like everybody, I have my concerns and my hesitations about how ineffective and inefficient the system of justice can be. I'm not going to shed any tears over people going into Hurricane Ian's path of destruction and being met with force. I wouldn't want to have to do that. I wouldn't want to be put in that position. My first instinct would be to pop around high to try and scare them off. If you're so degenerate and so uncaring about other people, I don't understand why folks are mad at the sheriff for saying don't allow yourself to be victimized. Because the argument is, well, if you care more about your property and material things than the lives of another human being. No. They cared more about my property than their life, or they wouldn't have been in my house.
Well, and I definitely am not on the side of the people who are looting. So let me make that very clear. But I do think that statements like this are what make the more moderate, middle of the road, yeah, I should be able to stand my ground, and yeah, I should be able to protect myself and my family and my home. Folks who are all about the Second Amendment go, that's not a good look for us. Because again, all the way up to they have a right for their property to be safe, even when it's part of their home may be torn away. These looters, that's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely agreed. But when you take it in to make them look like grated cheese, and as you mentioned, wrong cheese, from the sheriff, I'm not thinking I'm wrong when other elected officials or sheriffs or police people might be like, yeah, maybe that's a little over.
Look, I know that there's a little hyperbole in the phrasing, and I'm
Florida, no.
And I'm assuming that Sheriff Judd meant Swiss cheese because that's the sensible thing because it's full of holes. Here's my problem with shooting until somebody looks like grated cheese. You're wasting a lot of ammo if you shoot anything that much because once it's dead, it's dead. If you just keep going, you're wasting ammunition.
And I was going to say, if you just keep going, it's a bigger mess on your things that are already messed up.
Do you? I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit. I know. Do you think that looters know that they are risking their life when they go into a situation like this, knowing that it's possible they're going to encounter a scared homeowner whose reaction is going to be, "You're in what's left of my home, bang, bang, bang. You're not taking my kid or my TV."
I think what you're seeing by people going into these areas is they're banking on odds, which is most likely that no one's going to be there. It's the same thing that we saw happen when they were evacuating for like creek fire and stuff, is that scumbag people are going to do scumbag things. And so they're rolling the dice on the fact that most people are going to be scared or aren't going to be there or aren't going to be there to put up a fight.
If you're such a scumbag that you're trying to capitalize on people who have already suffered this much, again, I'm not advocating for going out and playing Batman. I'm not suggesting that people form a posse and go around stringing up anybody who's out of place. That's not what I'm saying. If I'm in my home at night and you break into my home and I don't know who you are, but you're there to do harm and take my things, I don't think that stopping you is wrong. And the degeneracy of somebody who does this under these circumstances, I understand that Judd is overextending the point, probably out of fatigue and anger. I have a very hard time getting on board with the media that's condemning him for having said that when the real degenerates are the people that he's talking about.
Well, and I think there you are seeing some of the game playing for sure. But this is where the moderate, level-headed people in the middle, which just get frustrated with all this, need to be the ones to be like, okay, no, that's too far. But also at the same time, you can't ignore that while he may say, go ahead, shoot them up so they look like grated cheese, if you do that, you're going to have repercussions. You're going to have the repercussions of having to have made that decision, which I do think people taking the lives of others, they do think about, like, I can only imagine that weighs on people, even if they are absolutely in their right to do so. And then there's going to be the repercussions of having to go through all the rigmarole of the legal process, even if you were standing your own ground.
I want to hear the man's tone. Do you want to hear the man's tone?
Let's hear his tone.
I can tell you that I was down there with my colleague, Sheriff Marcino, this weekend, and it's total devastation. And people have a right to be safe in their homes. They have a right for their property to be safe, even when part of their home may be torn away. And these looters, that's unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. I would highly suggest that if a looter breaks into your home, comes into your home while you're there to steal stuff, that you take your gun and you shoot him. You shoot him so that he looks like grated cheese. Because you know what? That's one looter that won't break into anyone else's home and take advantage of them when they're the most vulnerable and the most weak.
Okay, so that's a very calm delivery of a pretty big statement.
That's an exhausted man who has taken one too many phone calls about people who are already suffering, being victimized by scumbags.
Do you think that here's where there's the opportunity to kind of course correct? Again, I almost wanted to hit the pause after these looters. That's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And scene, because now it's not going to talk about the looting and it's not going to talk about the devastation. It's going to turn into this focusing on the question of shoot 'em up.
Well, and that's, again, where the mainstream media, the left-leaning editorializers of the commentariat are turning it into, look at this whack job in Florida advocating for vigilantism. And I think this is a man he's at the end of his rope. He's heartsick over what his community is going through. And the people who are preying on that, I don't blame them for not seeing them as entirely human.
I'm pretty sure, though, he doesn't want to be the sheriff like in a jurisdiction where he's having to deal with all of the repercussions of everybody making grated cheese.
It's a lot of paperwork. Ray, I see you there. We'll grab his call in just a minute. If you want to join in, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. It's Phillip and Skip on your afternoon drive on KMJ.
Got some problems to deal with in Fresno, and it's East Belmont Avenue and North Fowler. Got a non-injury accident being reported there. Then in Shaver Lake, 168 at Dinky Creek Road, another non-injury accident. In Madera, Highway 41 at State Route 145, non-injury accident at that location as well. Next update, 4:33. I'm Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
Thank you, Greg. Guys, don't forget, $25K payoff is in play. Another $100 up for grabs this hour, and another shot at that $25,000 grand prize drawing. Contest rules at KMJNow.com. The national keyword that you want to text, don't text and drive. Text it to 95819. WAGE, W-A-G-E, WAGE. Text it to 95819. 25K payoff is brought to you by Chuck Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. Good luck.
KMJ. This is former Superintendent of Clovis Unified, Terry Bradley. I am asking you to vote for Samantha Bauer for the Clovis Unified School Board. Clovis Unified is one of the best school districts in California. What makes Clovis Unified successful? It's a school board that is dedicated to our community and our traditions. It's parents like Samantha Bauer that run for our school board, not to be a politician, but a voice for students, teachers, support, administrative staff, and parents. Let's keep Clovis Unified great. Vote for Samantha Bauer for Clovis Unified School Board.
I'm Samantha Bauer, candidate for Clovis Unified School Board. As a parent of 2 Clovis Unified students, I will make sure that every parent has a voice in our schools. I have volunteered in Clovis schools for 15 years, and I believe we need to get back to basics. We need to focus on student learning and making sure our kids have what they need to succeed. And as a business owner, I will make sure our kids are back on track and set up for success. I'm Samantha Bauer. Thank you for your vote. Let's get back to basics. Paid for by Samantha Bauer for CUSD Trustee 2022.
Okay, Clarks, this is the last question before our lightning speedy solar round. 100 techs surveyed, name some materials solar for you doesn't scrimp on.
Well, obviously, it's uniforms.
Radical.
What? That's absurd. I was obviously joking.
You gonna take that W or what?
That sounds like an L to me, guy. At Energy Concepts, we never cut corners on training, parts, panels, or installations. Call Energy Concepts, the highest-rated SunPower elite dealer in the Valley. Now that's a power move.
For a long time now, you've heard me talk about the Glass Shop in Visalia. What a great place this is. And it's well represented all through my home. Windows, mirrors, screen doors, yeah. And they're big shining stars, Anlin Windows. You've heard me brag about Anlin Windows warranty. It's a double warranty, and I'm going to brag again. Your Anlin Windows have a double lifetime warranty, which means when you sell your home, that warranty goes to the new owner as well. They're locally owned and manufactured out in Clovis. Their quality control is tip-top, bar none, better than anybody else. And that's why the Glass Shop swears by them. Even Scott, he's the window wizard I tell you about. He likes them so much, he put them in his own home. What does that tell you? Let's say you only need 1 or 2 windows. The Glass Shop will still come to your house and take care of you. Practically every other window place is not going to bother for 1 or 2 windows, but the Glass Shop will. Click theglassshop.com. Isn't that easy? Theglassshop.com. They're in Visalia, but if you're hearing my voice, they're going to take care of you wherever you are. The Glass Shop and Anlin Windows. It doesn't get any better. Who says so? I say so.
KMJ is celebrating our 100th anniversary. It's part of the Big Fresno Fair Table Mountain Concert Series, presented by Modelo Especial and Toyota, featuring Tower of Power, with special guests, the Appletones, and comedy legend Paul Rodriguez. Tuesday, October 11th, in the Paul Theater. Sponsored by American Pistachio Growers and Caglia Environmental. For tickets and more info on the big event, click on KMJNow.com.
This is Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims. At a time when the safety of our schools couldn't matter more, we deserve leaders on the school board who will protect our kids and give them the best education to flourish in life. That's why I'm proud to support Susan Wittrup for Fresno Unified School Board in the Bullard area. Susan is a lifelong educator who has spent her career focused on the safety and well-being of Fresno's children. She doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. Now she has a blueprint to keep our kids safe by strengthening campus safety drills, increased investment in life-saving technologies on campus, and fully funding Fresno Unified's Campus Safety Officer Program for middle and high schools. This upcoming election on November 8th is critical, and Fresno Unified needs a fighter for safe schools that create a brighter future. That's why you should vote for Susan Wittrup for Fresno Unified School Board.
Paid for by Susan Wittrup for Fresno Unified School Board 2022.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chancey Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream It Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chancey Gold Resort and Casino.
This is the afternoon drive on KMJ. In case you missed it, your 4 p.m. hour keyword is wage, W-A-G-E, wage. Text that to 95819. You can win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 payoff. Brought to you by Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. Contest rules at KMJNow.com. We're talking about a Florida sheriff that's in the news as he pushed victims of looters to shoot them until they look like grated cheese. Going to the phones right now. Ray, welcome to the afternoon drive.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. In this issue, I side with the sheriff, and this is what I like about it. He's addressed the situation, and he put an exclamation point on it. I feel it could actually end up saving lives in the long run. Ben Carson said something over the weekend I really like. It's going to take strong leaders with strong ideas to get us out of this mess. I am a moderate. I am fed up with crime. I think it's time that we draw a line in the sand, and I think that's what the sheriff did, and I think he's got a lot of people behind him.
Ray, you say that you think he's going to save lives. Is that because a sheriff saying something like this out in the open is going to scare off the kind of the kind of degenerate that might have otherwise taken a trip to Florida to loot?
I think it could. I think it absolutely could, because it's going to create a lot of publicity, which it already has, and the word will get out. And I'm fed up with making the criminals victims. They're not. They're not respecting their own lives by putting themselves in harm's way.
So I agree with you on that one, and that it's getting to the point of being far past fed up. But do we really think that the people that are looting are watching the news?
I believe if it happened, it would take one time for it to happen. I do believe the word will get out. I've heard prisoners say that they don't respect anything but consequences. People respect consequences, and there needs to be reinserted into our psyche consequences for actions.
Ray, I think that you come at this with a very interesting, very level
That's a good
idea.
perspective.
And he's right. I mean, the cautionary tale will travel more quickly than the Fox and Friends, soundbite will.
I wonder if, you know how we have certain rules on if, like you can't jack up the prices of things, right?
No price gouging.
No price gouging. There are additional rules about this type of behavior and burglary during a national disaster, right? What I think is interesting here, though, is that this is something that's in Florida, because we talk about crime, right? We often talk about how crime is rampant here in California, but Florida is supposed to be, I guess, kind of sort of this like example that we hold up as doing things like the red way.
Yes and no. Florida's Governor DeSantis is definitely a hard right kind of guy. Florida is a little bit more of a mixed bag. They just happen to go conservative voting for national offices, I think.
Okay.
But the population down there is as diverse as anywhere. I mean, you think about you've got wealthy retirees, you've got the whole tourism industry and the incredible diversity of the folks trying to serve that from all angles. You've got people who are coming over in rubber tubes from Cuba to try and find a life. So I think that there's more to it than just Florida red. But if Sheriff Judd's comments get into somebody's ear and they think, maybe I don't want to get shot at.
Perhaps. And I guess, though, this is the other part where I think it makes, again, law-abiding citizens that are watching the news who would even be able to tell you who the sheriff is, go, oh, boy, I really hope that the criminals don't do anything, recognize that this is the case. But in reality, I think we're going back to rolling the dice on the quickest way to make a buck. And for a lot of them, they're going to be able to come across homes that have been left, and they're going to grab what they can and get out.
Unfortunately, yeah. By the way, there was a caller who checked in to make a point, and it just didn't make it to air. But he said basically the thrust of what he was trying to say is don't fire warning shots into the air because what goes up must come down, and you could seriously injure or kill an innocent person firing a warning shot upwards and outwards. And he's right. I mean, from a statistical standpoint, that's pretty rare, but he's right, and there's a reason that's illegal. So if you're going to fire a warning shot, I guess just put it in the ground.
Yeah, don't try and do some cute little target aiming to scare them.
No. Well, and I think that anybody who's serious about home defense or concealed carry, they've gotten all the Annie Oakley crap beaten out of them just by experience on the range.
And I think that that's what I would go back to this being kind of hyperbolic, is that real folks, the moderate folks that are going to stand their ground, even the caller Ray that hung up.
Yeah.
If in that moment you're dealing with that, is there going to be this like Annie Oakley or like I'm going to be the Punisher, Batman, or is there going to be the real belief of I'm exhausted, I'm tired, don't take my stuff? And is there going to be a need to use lethal force?
Maybe so. When we get back, yeah, I know it's not the 5 o'clock hour, so we don't usually do a whole lot of entertainment-focused stuff. But in this case, it's not entertainment. It's
all those sound bites are gone from an interview that happened last week on certain news stations.
Yeah, you guys saw Kanye making the rounds. He had the White Lives Matter sweater. And like him and Candace Owens were holding hands, walking around in a mismatched set. And he popped up and was momentarily a media darling in some circles. Everybody's running away from that after Kanye's Twitter account got locked, and certain tweets were deleted after he leveled some weird statements at the Jewish community. We'll talk about what Kim Kardashian's baby daddy is up to when we get back.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. A Fresno man in custody in Nevada on suspicion of murdering an 18-year-old. Police say Clarence Houghton met with Darian Wheeler in northwest Fresno to sell him marijuana back in December. However, Houghton accused of shooting Wheeler before fleeing the state. Authorities recently tracked him down, arrested him in Henderson, Nevada. He now awaits extradition. Teenage boy injured. It follows a shooting in Tulare County. Police found the 16-year-old with a gunshot wound in Farmersville. He's expected to survive. Investigators now working to determine a suspect and motive. A coordinated attack on airport websites may be the work of Russian hackers. ABC's Derek Dennis has more in this report.
More than a dozen airport websites coast to coast were hit, from LAX to New York's LaGuardia, Des Moines International to Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International, but websites only, no operational systems compromised.
It's essentially superficial.
John Hultquist with the cybersecurity firm Mandiant tells ABC News a Russian cyber group known as Killnet is believed to be behind the denial of service hackings.
They've carried out attacks all over Europe. They've carried out attacks in Japan even. A lot of it is tied to the war in Ukraine.
Federal government is investigating. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
A chance for some mountain rain in the Sierra Nevada this afternoon. About a 20% chance with less than a tenth of an inch expected. Some snow in the higher elevations. Also, starting your week off with afternoon highs well above normal. 91 in Fresno today. Normal is 81. Upper 80s and a low 90s everywhere else, with overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Fresno, on McKinley Avenue off-ramp at eastbound 168, we got a report of a fire at that location. Porterville, northbound 65, just north of Henderson, a report of a fire there as well. And then in Los Banos, Henry Miller Road at Nates Avenue, an injury accident being reported. Our next update, 447, Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chancey Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream It Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chancey Gold Resort and Casino.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wilson with Wilson's Power Sports, located in Madera, California. My husband Bob and I have been working with Cumulus Media for over 5 years. Within the last 2 months, we started working with Cumulus's digital department and are extremely pleased with their results on Cumulus Boost and search engine marketing.
Find out more. Go to cumulusboost.com. We'll get you a free website audit along with all the details of Boost. cumulusboost.com. Boost from Cumulus Media.
There are several people running for Clovis City Council, but there is only one with a proven record of protecting the Clovis way of life. That's current council member Drew Bessinger. Drew is a U.S. Army veteran and retired Clovis police captain. He has served as interim police chief for 3 Valley cities. Drew kept his promises of smart and controlled growth, supporting public safety, and helping local small business owners when they needed it most. Vote to re-elect Councilman Drew Bessinger. He's getting the job done.
This is Clovis Councilmember Drew Bessinger. It's been an honor to serve you on the Clovis City Council. For nearly 30 years, I have served the citizens of Clovis, 22 years with the Clovis Police Department, and 5 years as your council member. I am proud of our accomplishments: smart growth, improved community safety, and a balanced city budget. While serving as mayor, we were hit by the COVID pandemic. We used common sense and reasonable precautions to protect our community while defending your personal freedoms and supporting our businesses. I'm Drew Bessinger, and I would appreciate your vote. Paid for by Drew Bessinger for Clovis City Council 2022.
This report is sponsored by Goal Zero. Goal Zero, the leader in affordable home backup systems and solar generators. During a blackout, they can power your fridge, freezer, lights, Wi-Fi, TV, and more with clean power. Learn more at goalzero.com.
It's the Afternoon Drive with Philip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
The only radio station that helps me through a long day.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Philip.
I really, really try not to give mental energy to people like the Kardashians and Kanye West, professional attention seekers. If you're off doing something and you're building an empire, or you're running a successful business, or you're a content creator or a musician who's doing something, anything, like I'm good, and if I encounter your stuff and I like it, great. But the the professional attention whoring that comes from a certain segment of the celebrity world. I find it, and maybe this is me being condescending from the cheap seats, I find it distasteful. I don't like it. I don't find the value in it. I'm not a reality TV guy.
Neither am I. And one of the things that I will constantly say to folks in my practice is like, you are what you eat. So while some people like to tune in to that kind of stuff to decompress, I also think that that's what you're fueling your fire with. And so I don't see the value in it. All of that to say, it's big money and big names. And most recently, never thought I'd say it, we saw a sit down on primetime television with one of the biggest loudmouths.
Kanye West.
Yes. And for a quick moment, he was being held up as this figure and, and then he was quickly discarded.
So, and by the way, I want to be clear, like in the arena of psychological junk food, I'm absolutely one of the sinners. You'll never meet a more unrepentant Rick and Morty fan.
See, I don't even I'm talking about reality television that's actual people hating on each other. But yeah.
I understand. What I'm saying is like we've all got something we enjoy that the rest of society just looks at and goes, oh, okay, all right. So I want to acknowledge, that's South Park, Rick and Morty, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming from. I watched the new He-Man thing. I got to switch my brain off too. But Kanye West made some waves in the past few weeks when he introduced this White Lives Matter sweater as a part of his clothing line. And I mean, to the point where he was doing sit downs talking about it on primetime TV. Candace Owens showed up to one of his fashion shows wearing one of his White Lives Matter shirts. And it was kind of this, hey, look at this guy making a thing out of, the pushback against Black Lives Matter, because you've got this movement that started with this kind of real organic grassroots thing. And then it split off, and there was one segment that turned it into cover for Antifa, another segment that turned it into a money-making opportunity for personal enrichment, and then a whole bunch of people who just want to talk about how let's, treat everybody like human beings.
And there were other celebrities that were calling for their donations back, right? Because they started to see the
money nonsense.
Yes.
So Twitter and Instagram both locked down Kanye West accounts over the weekend. Twitter, in particular, the line in the sand that was crossed was a tweet that read, and let me be clear, I'm quoting Kanye West here. Quote, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who opposes your agenda."
It's important to point out that West returned to Twitter for the first time since 2020 on Saturday, after his Instagram account was seemingly restricted.
Yeah. Well, it was restricted because he was posting weird stuff on Instagram as well.
Right. So, and this has been a big talking point, right? Like restriction of speech. Is there the opportunity to be able to say what you really think, or is big social media taking out conservative voices, all of that? And so Kanye, riding the wave, I think, of a whole lot of attention, decided he got to really be able to talk about what he really thought. And you can't really call him anti-Semitic because he's not. By the way, we've been calling him by his old name. His legal name now is Yee.
I don't care. I don't care. And there's nobody over 40 who cares or is going to necessarily retain that. He's Kanye West, just like Prince was Prince, even when he changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol. We just all called him the artist formerly known as Prince because he wasn't doing stuff to make the rest of the country mad. And he turned out good music. Here's the thing. Are you familiar with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement?
Yes.
So if you guys don't know what this is, and I'm going to give you a quote here from ADL. Some, but not all, Black Hebrew Israelites are outspoken anti-Semites and racists. As of December 2019, the SPLC listed 144 Black Hebrew Israelite organizations as Black separatist hate groups because of their anti-Semitic and anti-white beliefs. One former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan remarked to the Southern Poverty Law Center, quote, "They're the Black counterpart to us." You start doing this, I can't be anti-Semitic because I'm a Jew, the White Lives Matter thing. I'm wondering if somebody got their hooks into this cat and has started to drag him off into this Black Hebrew Israelite movement that rewrites the tribes of Israel as being African-American descended, and white people are literally emanations of the devil here to test the chosen people. And the people who call themselves Jews are actually lying to try and undermine the true tribes of Israel.
So what you're talking about is a radicalization from that perspective. Somebody got through to Kanye. All of this, too, while, by the way, that he's alluding to running for president again. There is the possibility of the radicalization piece, because I really do think we're seeing that on multiple levels. I think more so here, you have a guy who, he does have some documented mental health history, clearly. But in response to that, I think that there's a lot of hiding behind that. And a lot of lack of accountability because he is a person in a space of such esteem, and people continue to give him money and continue to just be yes men to him.
But aren't people...
He's a narcissist. Maybe. Allegedly.
Based on the behavior that we have seen, that seems like a plausible diagnosis from my layperson's perspective. Aren't people suffering from various sorts of mental disorder? Not all people with mental disorders, not all people under the care of therapists and psychiatrists, but aren't people who suffer especially from narcissistic type and bipolar type more susceptible to being attracted to cults than general population? Because I seem to remember something about borderline being a major feature in women getting pulled into cult situations.
Yeah, but I would say, if I'm just kind of doing a quick scan over my knowledge, a narcissistic individual is more likely to become the figurehead of a cult than to be wrapped up in the cult. Now, that said, he has made insinuations and straight out statements about being, some sort of second coming of, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of his belief as being bigger and better and godlike. So he would be the center of the cult with people around. And he certainly has plenty of people around him that will just tell him whatever he wants. And plenty of regular old people that just go and buy his stuff, which continues to give him money. Stop buying the ugly shoes.
If you are a leader in a cult or another sort of charismatic movement, and you encounter somebody who can be brought in with their great big deep pockets simply by telling them, yeah, buddy, you might be the man. You might be the center of the thing. You might be the guy that we are looking for. I mean, look at Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Above average intelligence, above average wealth, and neck deep in Scientology.
Yeah. I see what you're going with there. I don't know that Kanye knows enough about history to be wrapped up in what was the name of it again?
the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. That's a contemporary movement.
But there's never been any reference to it. And also, I think what Kanye is doing with the White Lives Matter and then all of this this stuff of all that we're seeing up until this point where he was straight out anti-Semitic is I think he liked the attention of a new group of people.
And obviously, in this display, there's room for that. The thing that made me immediately think of that Black Hebrew Israelite movement was that tweet. Because again, he says, I'm going DEFCON, because he doesn't know what defense condition means, DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is I can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. That's that warped narrative that the Black Hebrew Israelites kick things off with. No, we are the chosen people. We are the true lost tribe. And those other people are pretending to try and undermine our claim to the kingdom of God.
It would make sense if we're not going to see him on Twitter or Instagram anytime soon with that kind of stuff. He actually did try to reach out to Mark Zuckerberg by sharing a photo of the two of them. And in terms of like, hey, what's up? I thought we were cool. Is there going to be any sort of recognizing this from a group of people who were just holding Kanye up as like some sort of great new spokesman of awesomeness? Or are they just deleting stuff off of their podcasts and social media pages? The
little fish that can fly under the radar start deleting stuff. The big fish that everybody knows they did sit-down primetime interviews, I think you're going to see him go on the offensive. Well, how do you know he's wrong? Besides all of recorded history.
No.
All right, in Fresno right now, East Ashland Avenue at North Clovis, there is a hazard in the roadway there. Also, another problem, westbound Shields just west of Blythe, and that is a couple of vehicles that are causing a hazard. Also, we have a report of a fire, McKinley Avenue off-ramp eastbound 168. And in Madera on northbound 99 at Avenue 16, right there at the off-ramp, there is another disabled vehicle causing a hazard. Next update, 5:03, Greg Lane, KMJ Traffic.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted best of Central California's best hotel and lodging, best steakhouse, best fine dining, and best casino, restaurant, and bar. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio, with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Let's talk about Fresno. Not about politics or business. Let's talk about what we can do together to make Fresno a cleaner, greener, more beautiful place to live. That's why the City of Fresno has established a new department that's focused entirely on picking up trash, removing graffiti, planting trees, creating artwork, and engaging the community in projects that will improve Fresno's curb appeal. It's called Beautify Fresno. It's already making a big difference. We hope you're ready to help. Learn more about Beautify Fresno and how you can join this citywide effort at beautifyfresno.org.
Honey, I'm going to turn down the air.
Oh, no, you're not. We'll have to mortgage the kids to pay the power bill.
But it's so hot.
I know, hon, but we can't help it. Do you want a freeze pop?
If this sounds like your house, Planet Solar can help with that. Adding a new Planet Solar system gives you control over your utility bill. If you think gas prices are high, wait until you get this year's summer power bill. Lock in your electricity prices today with a new Planet Solar system. If you want to run your air conditioning more, just add solar and maybe you won't have to mortgage the kids to pay for it. Call Planet Solar today at 559-228-9245 or visit us on the web at planetsolar.com. We're locally owned and operated to give you the great service you deserve.
Honey, I'm going to turn the air down.
All right, have at it. With our new Planet Solar system, we don't have to worry.
Stop worrying. Call Planet Solar today at 559-228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Did you know there's a conservative advocacy and benefits organization with over 2 million members and counting? It's AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Here are 3 reasons why you should consider joining AMAC right now. First, AMAC saves you money from discounts on travel and lodging, cell phones and plans, access to insurance products, and more. Joining AMAC is a powerful tool against inflation. Second, with a bi-monthly magazine, daily web content, podcasts with America's thought leaders, and an app that delivers insightful coverage of the issues that matter most. AMAC is a trusted source of information. And third, the reason why people say it's their favorite is that AMAC fights for your conservative values on Capitol Hill. With more than 2 million members, AMAC is a voice that cannot be ignored, working tirelessly to preserve the freedom secured by our Constitution. Go to amac.us/liberty and join today. That's amac.us/liberty. amac.us/liberty.
Get ready for a giant comedic TV legend so up close and personal, only crawdaddies could do it. Tuesday night, October the 25th. You're never going to forget this. Get ready to scream Jimmy JJ Walker. This is going well beyond the good times. It's a one-on-one night that only crawdaddies could pull off. Up close and personal. I'm going to help a little bit too. Me, Ray Appleton, of course. Tickets are blowing out the door like a hurricane from hell. Jimmy J.J. Walker. Crawdaddies, October the 25th. The food is absolutely dynamite. The show is a singular rarity that will have you laughing until you fall off your bar stool. Crawdaddies on Main and Visalia. Jimmy J.J. Walker, practically in your lap. I'm Ray Appleton, and I really hope you're ready for this one. Crawdaddies. It can't get any better.
It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Coming up at 5 o'clock, a look at your headlines with Jim Miller. We are also going to get a look at your traffic and your final keyword of the day in the $25,000 payoff. So we're going to take a moment right now to invite you out to join us tomorrow. We're broadcasting live. Tomorrow's the big day. American Pistachio Growers and Caglia Environmental present KMJ's 100th anniversary celebration. Big Fresno Fair featuring Tower of Power, the Appletones, and Paul Rodriguez. Table Mountain Concert Series is sponsored by Toyota and Modelo Especial. And tomorrow, you can get in for just $2 from 4 to 7 if you're following the Big Fresno Fair on social media. So you can get a little bit of a discount at the gate and then come see the 100th anniversary show.
Yeah, if you want to know more about how that works, go to FresnoFair.com. But, I mean, it's $2 to get into the fair. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and Tuesday's a great day to do it, too. Get your fair fix the start of the week. Enjoy the comedy, the concerts, the fair stuff. Get there a little early. You can go watch horse races or do all that other kind of stuff, too. Pop on over into the livestock barn and eat. But don't eat at the livestock barn. Just eat elsewhere.
Why wouldn't you eat at the livestock barn?
I don't think they
allow
allow
that free food laying around.
I don't think. Yeah, I think you have to keep your food kind of like wrapped up because of cleanliness stuff. But you get a lot of stuff done before the fair or before the show, which is at 7 o'clock. And we're going to be broadcasting from 2 to 6.
Yes, we are. Sequestered, hidden, tucked away. I hope.
No, we're gonna be up in the
Fresno
Museum?
Historic Site.
Yeah.
I was actually up there on Sunday. I took the kids yesterday and spent a little time bumping around the Big Fresno Fair. And the museum's great. The museum's really, really cool. Although I'm going to tell you, if you have a mobility issue and you have seating on the second floor for the show in the little VIP area, get there early because the elevator's fine, but there is one elevator and it is SLOW, slow.
Okay. I've never even been in the building, so I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, but like you can just run up the stairs. I can run up the stairs. There's only one story. But if you need, I'm telling you now, if you need the elevator, get there early. Give yourself some time because it's not a big elevator and it's not quick. It works great. It's very clean. It's well taken care of. It's just not a big unit.
Just bring some snacks while you're waiting. Make sure you get your fair food before you can eat while you wait.
Exactly right. What are you going to get? Because we'll have like a minute between the show and
kettle corn. That's my lunch.
That's it? That's what you're doing?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I need. That and some diet soda to even out the sugar and get that caffeine in my system.
It's worse for you.
I know it is. It's the fare. I don't care. It doesn't count. That would be my, but I'm trying to think, like, do I get the small bag that's the paper bag inside the plastic bag, or do I go for the toddler size under the assumption that I'll take some home for the kids?
I want to see if you can actually get through the whole bag.
Which bag?
Because you've been
I
talking
can, but
about
I'm going to hate life.
Just wear stretchy pants.
Which bag? The smaller
Well,
bag?
I was
which
talking
is
about
still, the smaller bag's still like 10 cups. That's a lot of popcorn.
Yeah, well, it's popcorn.
Yeah, but you're talking about the big one?
Yeah.
Oh, and then you got to go through and pick out the best ones. Some of them are like glazed a little better than others. Oh yeah, that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about tomorrow.
Okay, so you guys can look forward to hearing a lot of chewing on the
I
show
will
from
make
at least one
sure
of
that I
us.
will not do it on air, but I'm going to be like a chipmunk in between.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the corn dog stand again. Get one of the spicy dogs.
Okay, so you did some recon yesterday and found the good stuff?
They're all good. It's the fare.
When
It's corn dogs. It's either it's cooked or it's not. Like there's very little middle ground on a corn dog.
When Mr. Skip took a couple of the kids last week, they did the ice cream stuff and got 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
One of them said they wanted funnel cake
Yeah.
with strawberries on it.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to need to bring like wet naps. Like we might get sticky.
Oh, it's not a terrible idea.
But anyway, so that's going to be part of the plan tomorrow because it's October in Fresno. You have to go to the fair. And we didn't even talk about cinnamon rolls. Do you like the middle or the edges?
I'm good with the whole thing. I actually ended up buying one of the take-home trays.
You did it.
Oh yeah. Mrs. Teresi couldn't go with us. She was under the weather, and so so I brought.
Oh,
that
your
back to
house
her.
is going to smell so good when you cook them.
Oh yeah.
I'll take one.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Learn about Duarte Nursery's new and improved pistachio program. Duarte Nursery pistachios are bigger with the new Moon Unit budded trees. Crop years ahead. Save pre-productive time and several acre-feet of water by planting Moon Units. The new Vigor Clone rootstocks establish faster, come into production faster, and plateau at higher production levels than standard pistachio rootstocks. Duarte Nursery has several budded pistachio tree formats available, including the Moon Units for 2022 and 2023 spring planting. Talk to your Duarte Nursery field rep today. Duarte Nursery is the leader in potted almond trees. The new almond variety, Yorizani the Gold Nut, is a recently released self-fertile almond by the USDA. Yorizani has been field tested statewide and is a top performer in the regional almond variety trials. Yorizani is a standout performer in both quality and production. Yorizani almond trees are available from Duarte Nursery for your plantings now. Duarte Nursery has all of the best rootstocks, including Bright's Hybrid 5 and Krimsk 86 available.
You love the San Joaquin Valley, and so does Precision Civil Engineering, a proud and locally owned business that literally designs this region with each project completed. For over 55 years, the Dunkel family has provided civil engineering and land surveying services that have resulted in completed projects that reflect their commitment to excellence and dedication. Precision Civil Engineering operates each day with a goal of giving back to our community. They are a multidisciplined consulting firm with a wide range of turnkey solutions. Precision Civil Engineering.
How do you make the most of your land? Everyone has their way, and this is how the Allens do it with the help of their John Deere compact tractor.
We grow tulips, peonies, and 7,000 dahlias.
Over 9 acres.
They're a labor of love.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a deer.
Stop by one of our Lawrence Tractors locations in Visalia, Timpton, or Hanford, or visit us online at lawrencetractor.com.
Chuck Chansey Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California, and now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino, because you deserve the best.
News Talk 580 AM 105.9 FM KMJ Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller from the KMJ News Center. A man from out of state booked into the Madera County Jail for vandalizing a business bathroom. Deputies called to the block at Highway 41 in Oakhurst Saturday about a Louisiana man on the roof of a building. Police say 37-year-old Del Bush found inside a bathroom yelling and breaking items. Officials say Bush caused thousands of dollars of damage to that bathroom, including a broken toilet, and caused a flood inside that building. The governor is now calling a special legislative session to address excessive profits made by oil companies, and ABC 10's Morgan Reinor has the details.
Tuesday, I asked energy expert after energy expert why California prices are so high. Their response was, environmental policies make it hard to supplement California's special blend of gas when a refinery closes for maintenance.
Well, they don't know what the hell they're talking about if that's their assessment.
So he has a plan to address it.
We're calling for a windfall profits tax, and I'm calling for a special session on December 5th. And it's time to get serious. I'm sick of this.
A windfall profits tax will tax the oil companies when they make over a certain amount of profit and hand that money back to the consumer in some way.
There are many different ways of doing this.
Members of the Fresno Economic Opportunities Commission say they're looking for volunteers for a special program. The Foster Grandparent Program is for adults 55 and older who have extra time to mentor children. Officials say the volunteers will become mentors, tutors, and a person who offers emotional support. The program would serve children, teens, and young adults. The foster grandparents will receive a stipend. Another lawsuit's been filed against the Biden administration's efforts to forgive student loan debt for millions of Americans. ABC's M. Nigan has more from Washington.
The small business advocacy group Job Creators Network Foundation filed a lawsuit against the Biden administration's efforts to relieve tens of millions of Americans from up to $20,000 worth of federal student loans. The conservative-leaning group argued the administration should have let the public weigh in before announcing the policy. The White House responded saying they're just trying to help Americans get some breathing room. The latest lawsuit joins a growing number of legal challenges trying to halt the president's proposal. Last month, 6 Republican-led states filed a suit accusing the administration of overstepping its executive powers. M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
Gas prices for Fresno decreasing. AAA reports the average cost of a gallon of regular gas, $6.17. That's a cent less than yesterday and a cent less than a week ago. The average price for a gallon of regular in Visalia, $6.23. That's a cent less than yesterday and the same price from a week ago. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Starting your week off with afternoon highs well above normal. 91 in Fresno right now. Normal is 81. Upper 80s and low 90s everywhere else, with overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. And a chance for some mountain rain in the Sierra Nevada. About a 20% chance with less than 1/10 of an inch expected this afternoon. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And on the roadways in Fresno right now, westbound Shields, just west of Blythe, we have a collision being reported there. In Madera, southbound 99 at the westbound 152 junction, that would be closer to Chowchilla. There's a hazard of a disabled vehicle blocking the connector there. Then we go to Madera, northbound 99 at Avenue 16, right there at the off-ramp. There is a disabled vehicle in the roadway. Our next update, 5:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
It's time for KMJ's $25,000 payoff. Sponsored locally by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Text the national keyword
FUN, F-U-N, FUN,
to 95819 and you're entered to win $100. If you win, you're in the mix for the grand prize of $25 grand. Don't text and drive. Contest details at KMJNow.com.
This hour of KMJ's Afternoon Drive is brought to you by A&E Pressure Washers, sales and service for anything and everything on your wash pad.
This is Christina Musan. It's been tough finding furniture for my new home. I visited a lot of places with no luck. But when I walked into Design Studio by Furniture City, within 5 minutes, I found the perfect Tommy Bahama outdoor seating for my front porch. It's high-quality furniture that's custom-made just for me. Quality, selection, and personalization all can be found at the Design Studio by Furniture City in the former Osh building at Blackstone and Barstow in Fresno.
Real talk,
Kids are gonna kid. And sometimes that can look messier, ickier, and stickier than we'd like to admit. We can't always protect our kids from chewing on borrowed pencils, sharing lip gloss, or wild sneezes. But there is one thing we can protect them from, and that's COVID-19. Keep your family safer with vaccines and boosters. Find one near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Dream big and win even bigger at Chachansey Gold. It's the $1.6 million Dream It Win It giveaway now through October 28th. Every Thursday and Friday, you could win up to $1 million. Only at Chachansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive. Philip Teresi and Skip Echeverria. From AM Radio 580.
To the internet, KMJNow.com.
From Warren G. Harding to
Let's Go Brandon.
From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Afternoon Drive with Philip and Skip.
100 years of KMJ.
News, talk, radio.
5:07 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to Hour 4 of the Monday installment of Your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow the show at Drive KMJ and watch it if you want. YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch.tv, also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon as I join Skip Echeverria back in the KMJ studios with your trending topics at 5 o'clock.
Oh, man. Sorry, something got messed up here. Following the release of secretly recorded audio from a closed-door meeting in October 2021, the president of the Los Angeles City Council, Nuri Martinez, has stepped down but has not resigned from her seat. In the recordings, she mocked indigenous immigrants and a black child of a fellow council member while talking to two other council members and union leadership.
Hybrid electric and gas-fueled vehicles are designed to be safe in water, even when fully submerged. However, saltwater may be the exception. There have been 10 electric vehicle fires in all of Collier County, Florida, since Hurricane Ian. Quote, if you have one of these vehicles and it was submerged in saltwater storm surge, be sure to move it out of your garage and call the manufacturer for the next steps, says the Cape Coral Fire Department.
Several of the nation's largest airports were targeted by cyber attacks this morning by an attacker within the Russian Federation known as Killnet. Over a dozen airport public-facing web domains were impacted by the denial of service attacks, which essentially overloads sites by jamming them with artificial users.
Russia unleashed a lethal barrage of strikes against multiple Ukrainian cities Monday in retaliation for what Putin called a terrorist attack on a strategic Crimean bridge. 75 missiles were fired against Ukrainian targets, 41 of them neutralized by air defenses. The targets were civilian areas and energy facilities in 10 cities.
The Madera County Sheriff's Office received a call around 4:40 p.m. Saturday about a man on a roof of a building acting erratically and jumping up and down in Oakhurst. Deputy found the man had broken into the building and barricaded himself in a bathroom, which he subsequently destroyed. He was eventually removed, tased, detained, and taken into custody.
A Southern California doctor has pleaded guilty to writing prescriptions for more than 120,000 opioid pills and nearly 30,000 amphetamine salts pills between January of 2013 and December of 2018. That includes prescriptions to an impaired driver who struck and killed an off-duty firefighter. Dr. Pham conspired with a licensed pharmacist who has also agreed to enter a guilty plea on the same felony charges later this month as she filled the prescriptions directed to her pharmacy and bypassing safeguards against that activity.
During an interview on Fox and Friends Friday, Polk County, Florida Sheriff Grady Judd weighed in on the influx of looters who are taking advantage of Hurricane Ian's devastation, urging armed Florida homeowners to take action. He said, I would highly suggest that if a looter breaks into your home, comes into your home while you're there to steal stuff, that you take your gun and you shoot him so that he looks like grated cheese.
Last week, Kanye West enjoyed new popularity with some of the media after unveiling his White Lives Matter shirt with Candace Owens. This week, Twitter has locked down Kanye West's account after he posted a message promising to go, quote, DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The rapper has more than 31 million followers on Twitter. At your trending topics at 5 o'clock for those stories and a lot more. Get the podcast with Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you like to listen. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive or head over to KMJNow.com. Hit the podcast tab. You'll find stuff from us and the rest of the KMJ team. All kinds of good stuff waiting for you guys. A little sad radio news coming in here. The first track from Art Laboe's Dedicated to You, the Shirelles. As the news comes in at the age of 97, Art Laboe passed away after a brief fight with pneumonia at his home in Palm Springs.
Art Laboe, who first got his first start in radio at age 17, went on to fill Southern California airwaves for over 70 years. One of the first to play rock and roll on the West Coast, and a pioneer in putting together the whole oldies but goodies.
Yeah, he claims to have coined the phrase oldies but goodies, and considering when he started on the West Coast, he might get to own that one on this side of the country.
He was carried locally. I remember listening. Yeah.
They had him on Coco 94.3. How's this for high praise by way of the Washington Post? Art Laboe is credited with helping to end segregation in Southern California. He did it by organizing live disc jockey shows at drive-in burger joints that attracted black, white, and Latino kids who all liked rock and roll.
His radio program, consistently ranked near the top evening time slots, was syndicated in more than a dozen cities, drawing about 1 million listeners per week. He was the voice of the real LA, said Lou Adler, a famed record producer, manager, and hardcore fan.
One of the interesting things about Laboe's show, and I think this is something that went over a lot of people's heads. I mean, eventually it was a known thing, but it was one of those things that it just kind of got woven in. Art Laboe gave families whose loved ones were incarcerated the ability to make dedications and send shout-outs so that these guys who were locked up could hear and just know things were okay. He actually tells a story about a woman who came down to the studio with her kid in her arms so the kid could get on the radio to do a dedication and say, "Daddy, I love you."
Oh.
It was the first time the man had heard his child's voice.
Oh, my gosh. Art Laboe was also, in his younger years, attended Stanford, served a stint in the Navy during World War II, then came out and got his first job at a radio station in San Francisco.
He was working on Treasure Island, yeah.
Yeah, and the general manager encouraged him to adopt the last name Laboe because it sounded catchier.
Well, and here we get into the sons and daughters of the diaspora. He was born Arthur Ignoyan. Art Laboe's Armenian.
Okay. And this is around the same time that you had people like Richie Valens changing his name and all of these.
You had all these people that would anglicize their names.
Yeah.
And so Art Laboe anglicized his name, but Art Laboe's an Armenian.
Is he the most famous Armenian in radio we didn't know about? I had no idea that was his real last name, or wasn't.
Oh boy, I think that, Art Laboe's got such longevity. And in Southern California, Art Laboe's voice is next to Mark Driscoll and Charlie Tuna for just, that's what your radio sounds like. I would have to take opinions from other people on this, but is it Art Laboe or is it Bob Kavoyan, as in Bob and Tom Show?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Because while the Bob and Tom Show, and of course Bob's been gone for years now, it's Tom and Chick and some other dude.
I feel...
But while Art's got that longevity of having basically been a disc jockey since World War II, the morning show was on like the Armed Forces Radio Network and all that stuff. So, boy, that's a tough call, man.
That is super tough. But again, going back to the interesting piece of that, the changing of the names, right, to make it more palatable. I always associate listening to Art Laboe with long drives at night scanning through the radio. And it didn't matter where you were, anywhere Fresno South. Usually the drives would be late, coming home from like LA area. You could listen and you know it was going to be good music. It was the stuff my mom would listen to. But yeah, he'd do the prison mail shout outs and stuff, but in a classy way.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing is he would weave that stuff in there in a way that if you weren't listening for, hey, it's time for jail mail, like it would just kind of slip by. But talk about like a unique arc. Again, born Arthur Ignoyan in Salt Lake City to an Armenian family, grew up during the Great Depression in a Mormon household run by a single mother. His sister sends him his first radio when he's 8 years old. And Laboe said, I never let it go.
Yeah.
He comes to California, goes to Stanford.
He built his first radio station in his room at 13, too, by the way.
Goes to Stanford, serves in the Navy during World War II, and then comes back and is working at KSAN in the city. And that's when he takes the name Art Laboe because his program director, use the secretary's name, son.
And he's coming in and then eventually ends up in Los Angeles in the 50s when rock and roll is taken off.
Yeah.
I love this. He as the crowd grew at the drive-in where he was hosting, he said, "Hey, mothers, gather up your daughters. Here comes Art Laboe and his devil music."
I'm sorry the guy's gone, but if you want to read about a radio dude who got to do it all and got to be there for, I think, all the best parts of what we do, Art Laboe's got a hell of a story, man. I'm sorry he's gone. 97 years, though. That's not a bad run.
And on the roadways this afternoon, Fresno West Shields at North Blythe got a report of a collision there. In Madera, southbound 99 and westbound 152 connector, a bunch of debris in the roadway causing some problems. And in Visalia, northbound 99 at Avenue 200, right there at the off-ramp, a hit and run, non-injury accident. Next update, 5:33. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Real, honest conversation. News Talk 580, 1059, KMJ.
Chukchansi Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted best of Central California's best hotel and lodging, best steakhouse, best fine dining, and best casino, restaurant, and bar. Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
Open enrollment is fast approaching, and Sante Physicians will be hosting our second annual Medicare Health Fair on Monday, October 17th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our Palm location. Learn more about Medicare plans, all the while enjoying complimentary food trucks and live entertainment featuring the king himself, Jeremy Elvis Pierce. For more info, visit SantePhysicians.com. We hope to see you for the fun and valuable information. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
How do you make the most of your land? Thomason Tractor Company has been helping farmers like you make the most of their land with the right tractor like John Deere's 5M series. These chore tractors bring the horsepower and versatility so you can mow, spray, harvest, and handle everything you need to maximize productivity. Check out at Thomason Tractor Company in Fireball, where for over 55 years they strive to provide their customers with individual personalized attention. Thomason Tractor Company in Fireball, where superior service is standard equipment.
Hi, this is Julie Vogt with Roger Vo's Performance Auto Diesel and Air, your dealership alternative, proudly serving the Central Valley for more than 46 years. We have the expert staff and diagnostic capabilities to take care of whatever type of vehicle you drive: gas, diesel, flex fuel, car, truck, SUV, RV, or motor coach. We're proud to be a AAA approved facility, a GM and Ford quality installer with a nationwide 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty program. From routine maintenance services to diagnostics and major repairs, even Titan auxiliary fuel tank installations. If you've even thought about a performance upgrade, ask for JJ, our performance expert. Air conditioning repairs and part sales? We do that. We offer a courtesy shuttle service. Vehicle pickup and delivery is also available. Call Rose and she'll happily take care of the rest. 635-3288. That's 635-3288. Roger Rose Performance Auto Diesel and Air. The best thing about living in Visalia.
A story of first downs and second chances. Meet former pro football player Michael Robinson.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
And all those big league experts couldn't help?
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
Finally, he got fitted with Good Feet arch supports.
Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
Sign up for your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
By now, you've heard the news. Vaccine boosters are available for eligible Californians. Boosters support stronger immunity and help maximize protection against COVID-19 and its variants. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find out if you're eligible and to find a booster near you. That's myturn.ca.gov. Stay healthy and strong. Get boosted. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Oh, I thought we were just going to do a sing-along. I love Garth. Really glad I didn't try to see him in the Ozarks. Yeah. So the single best person you will ever see live, and I will die on that hill, is Garth Brooks. And fans were lining up to see him near Branson, Missouri, where Garth was going to play at this special... It was this Big Cedar Lodge, a resort in Ridgedale, Missouri, that's owned by Johnny Morris, the founder of Bass Pro Shops.
Oh, yeah.
Big deal. I like the one where they play the extra verse, where you get to say bad words. So the thing is about a place out in the Ozarks that's going to be this fancy like a resort is it's going to be beautiful, but there's not going to be like all the freeways that you would have maybe to be able to access a stadium.
Yeah.
And so fans waited in bumper-to-bumper traffic
to get to the parking,
to get to the shuttle. And for a lot of people, it didn't happen. Perhaps because they had 2 buses for a grand total of about 108 seats that were supposed to shuttle thousands of people back and forth from a fruit farm where they were parking to the resort. This is what you call a hot mess. And now folks are calling on Big Cedar Lodge and Ticketmaster to return their money.
I think rightfully so. They just didn't have the infrastructure to pull off the event. They didn't have adequate shuttle buses. They didn't have adequate parking. They didn't give people a warning that, hey, look, you need to get here at like 9 a.m. because this is an all-day thing. So people are trying to get there. The concert should have started, and they're getting messages from friends saying, don't come out.
Don't even
Turn
bother.
around.
Some folks were turning up as early as like they were supposed to be in Branson by 4 o'clock, get there and get parked. 5 hours later, they're not even to the shuttle. Yeah. And the thing that's just astounding to me is this isn't a Garth Brooks problem. This is a resort problem, because I've been to shows where Garth does 3 shows in one day.
Yeah.
Where you're shuffling people out and shuffling them in and having them go. I mean, this guy, nobody does it like him. So I get that it would have been really cool to see him in this picturesque setting up in a resort.
Yeah.
But guys, how did you not know that thousands of people were going to pay a lot of money to go see Garth?
Because this guy manages retail operations, not event venues.
Oh,
and he just couldn't have anticipated what it was going to be like.
But even when you're booking it, I mean, because you sold the tickets. I mean, some people were saying, on the low end, they were paying $200 for tickets. But and you don't have enough occupancy, it sounds like, to have people stay at your resort and then go to the Garth show, because there's going to be way more people at the Garth show than your resort's going to be able to handle. Did anybody go, hey, boss, like, maybe we should think about 2 buses? 2 buses?
To move a stadium's worth of people. And that's the thing, is I don't ever see here what the full capacity of the venue is. I just see people talking about 6-hour wait just to get in. And, 45 minutes after showtime, people are saying that it's a 45-minute wait for the shuttle bus.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like it was something where you could have, maybe walked.
No.
I might have hoofed it, but just out of pure bullheadedness.
So SeatGeek apparently was working with folks and issuing like credit, which, okay, yeah, if you like going to concerts, you'll probably end up using it. The parking was $50.
$50 to park off-site to be able to take a shuttle. You know what, though? That sounds like a lot, but these days that's nothing for parking.
No, it's still too much. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be the frog in the pot here. $50 is too much for parking. It doesn't cost $50 to park your car all day in San Francisco if you're using a public lot.
Yeah. But San Francisco has lots of spots where you can park, whereas isn't this the market dictating the price?
I guess so, but
yeah, that hurts. It does hurt. And especially like they're talking about some refunds. Somebody got a refund back for like $40 for something, but that's not going to make up the price of their tickets. Plus, it's the missed opportunity to see the single best performer that's alive right now.
Isn't it on Johnny Morris, the founder of Bass Pro Shops and the owner of the Big Cedar Lodge Resort? Isn't it on him to call Ticketmaster and say, we didn't realize how popular this was going to be and these people need their money back?
Yeah, but then he needs to foot the bill for that because Garth put on a show. Garth showed up where he was supposed to and was ready to go. And so this is where I feel bad that fans are, mad at him and wanting to get a refund. I would fully agree that if I bought tickets, I would expect to be going to the show, but this wasn't an artist problem or any of the logistics with his team.
Oh yeah, no, and the way that this story's put together, it seems like everybody pretty much figured out that this was a venue problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always some knucklehead who's gonna, it's Garth's fault. Yeah, right, because Garth's the one who planned the parking, dude.
I would have been so disappointed because those tickets were probably so hard to come by.
Have you had any events that like you were ticketed and ready to go and then you just circumstances burned you?
It was a Garth show 6 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
What happened? You bought the tickets?
Dude.
What happened? Well, we got a minute.
Oh, this is one of my most embarrassing moments where I had to pick a different decision in my life. I was supposed to go to the show with somebody.
Yeah.
And I didn't trust that they were going to get the tickets. So I bought 2 sets of tickets early.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought 4 tickets.
Yeah.
And they were good seats, but they weren't the best seats, but they were good. They were on the pre-sale.
Sure.
So I bought 2 separate sets and I could pick and then I was going to sell the other ones. Nope, I got you, Skip. We're good. We're going to go. We're in section B. Oh my God, I'm on the floor. Wah! Okay. I sell my tickets, both sets. Walk up to Save Mart Center with the person I'm going to the show with. See my kid's kindergarten teacher. Oh my gosh, we're going to see Garth. This is so exciting. And he's fumbling with his phone. Oh, the tickets aren't here. The tickets aren't here. What? I got to make a phone call. Excuse me, what? So then we step over to the side. I'm dumbfounded. I bought a cute outfit and everything.
Oh, no.
He didn't have tickets. I actually knew his mother. I called his mother and was like, what's happening? She's like, oh, I'm trying to buy the tickets and send them right now. You're trying to do what?
He waited until the day of the show.
Dude, he didn't have tickets. He didn't have tickets to anything. And I'd sold all 4 of my tickets. Oh. I calmly walked away, left him in a parking lot, and never saw him again.
Oh, man.
Man. And then, funny enough, a couple years later, I left another loser in a parking lot on that very same day after a creepy date. And then fast forward, I found Mr. Skip and all things fine.
Well, that beats mine. I just drove to San Francisco once and left my ticket sitting in Clovis, which sucked, but okay, lesson learned, and now we always check.
Dude,
but at least I owned the tickets.
How crazy are you that you thought you were going to pull that off? Like, you lied so much that you told me the seat numbers we had. So, yeah, this is where sometimes I'm gullible. Not anymore.
Not about Garth tickets.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. The man accused of kidnapping and murdering a family, including an 8-month-old baby girl, arraigned today, and no plea was entered. KMJ's Liz Kern has the latest.
48-year-old Jesus Manuel Salgado is being charged with 4 counts of murder for the kidnapping and slaying of the Merced family of 4. He's also being charged with arson after setting the family's truck on fire, as well as possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. There are also prior charges that are being added to the case. Salgado faces life in prison without the chance of parole. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
A man behind bars in connection to a fatal shooting at a motorcycle club in Fresno. Police arresting Antoine Carradine Sunday. Carradine is accused of murdering Darnell Johnson at the Soul Brothers Motorcycle Club October 1st. 2 other victims shot during the incident, but it's unclear if the suspect being held and responsible for their injuries. The investigation's ongoing. Water officials warning the public about the harmful algae bloom levels at Hensley Lake in Madera County. The advisory is for all visitors to stay out of the water. The Central Valley Regional Water Quality Board says the bloom found visually in some areas and through water testing. The algae bloom produces potent toxins when it's ingested. The symptoms include skin inflammation, as well as gastrointestinal distress, headaches, agitation, and abnormal breathing. Children and pets are at high risk due to their smaller size. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
A chance for some mountain rain in the Sierra Nevada this afternoon. About a 20% chance with less than 1/10 of an inch expected. Some snow in the higher elevations. Also, starting your week off with afternoon highs well above normal. 91 in Fresno today. Normal is 81. Upper 80s and a low 90s everywhere else, with overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And in Porterville on State Route 65 at Fountain Springs Avenue, we have a bit of a problem there with some animals running around the roadway on the far right side, so be real careful if you are in that area. In Madera, southbound 99 at Avenue 12, we have a problem there with a disabled vehicle. Then we go to Visalia, northbound 99 at Avenue 200, got a hit and run, non-injury accident. Next update, 547, Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Bright lights and big entertainment return to the big Fresno Fair with the Table Mountain Concert Series. See the concert lineup and buy your tickets now at FresnoFair.com.
Inflation is up more than 8% and interest rates rose again. This is Christina Musan. More Americans are worried about when will government clean up its act. Maybe Congress should call Closets by Design because they bring common sense solutions to disorganized spaces. From closets to offices, pantries, and garages, Washington, D.C. could use their help. Right now, Closets by Design is trying to help you tackle inflation with its fall special. 40% off and 18 months interest-free financing. That means lock in the price today, pay for it over the next 18 months, and when inflation goes up, the price of your system won't. That's better problem solving than what the White House is giving us these days. So put Closets by Design to work. Give them a call at 453-7034. That's 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine your government, home, beautifully organized.
Hey, you got a tickle in your schnoz? Call Dr. Boz. Click BozAllergy.com. Boz, B-A-Z. BozAllergy.com.
Hi, I'm Capri, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Girl Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. They actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce. It's definitely a good grilled spicy sandwich.
Hey, I'm Michelle, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is it's spicy and it's full of flavor. When you pair that with the Kale Crunch Salad, it's just good.
Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Did you know a fire department responds to a fire every 23 seconds? This Fire Prevention Month First Alert is reminding you to be prepared by installing smoke and carbon monoxide alarms on every level and in each bedroom of your home. Don't forget to add First Alert fire extinguishers on every level, plus in common spaces like the kitchen, and know how to use them. Protect your whole home with safety you can trust by visiting firstalert.com and Lowe's stores today.
Are you in need of earthwork, site prep, or mass grading and paving? Contact Foyata Land Leveling to get your job done. Dial 209-454-5700. Proud affiliate of the Ag Center.
A typical morning here in the neighborhood buzz, but today seems sweeter, and I'm sure it's because I'm getting boosted, boosting my immunity. Getting boosted, protected from COVID-19. Go to myturn.ca.gov to find boosters for ages 5 and up. Stay healthy and strong. Get boosted.
Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Chuck Chansey Gold is more than the best casino. It's been voted the #1 best local casino 15 times by Best of Central California. And now voted best casino slots and best casino table games. Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Because you deserve the best.
It's the Afternoon Drive with Phillip and Skip on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
They're not afraid to be them.
100 years of KMJ. Now more with Skip and Phillip.
The Afternoon Drive on KMJ. It's News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM, and worldwide. You'll find us at kmjnow.com. Yeah, no, I still can't beat your concert story. That's a bummer.
So just look, get some standards and move along, and eventually things work out. So here we are.
What version? I know you have an iPhone. Do you mind saying what iteration of the iPhone you are currently in possession of?
I think this is the third. Where do I find that? I just upgraded. I had a 10. For a long, long time.
So it's like a 12 or a 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably a 12, maybe a 13. It's not the newest one.
Yeah. Well, the newest one continues to have issues. First they had all the nonsense with the system software. Now it turns out that if you have an iPhone 14 and you go on a roller coaster, the police will be waiting for you at the end of the ride. Or actually, the EMTs will be waiting for you.
I double checked it. I have an iPhone 13.
Okay.
So here's why. There is a nifty new feature, which in some ways is going to make you wonder, do you still need your OnStar? It has a crash detection.
Yeah.
And it's also linked to your Apple Watch, and it's supposed to detect if you get into a crash. So it calls emergency services. Yeah. You know what also feels like getting jostled around in a vehicle? A roller coaster.
Yeah, Wall Street Journal and Coaster 101 are both reporting on this. A woman named Sarah, she's 39 years old, a dentist, and she talked with Wall Street Journal about her iPhone 14 Pro calling 911 while she was on the 109-foot-tall Mystic Timbers coaster at the King Island Park in Ohio. That ride reaches speeds of 53 miles an hour.
Yeah, and in doing so, the following. The owner of this phone was in a severe car crash and is not responding to their phone, an automated voice says in the call to 911, before also providing longitude and latitude coordinates. Screams from others on the ride can be heard in the background of the call because they're having fun.
But you've got to respond with
caution.
Know.
Yeah, but you don't know that that's happening.
So emergency services came out and, of course, didn't see a car crash. The Warren County Communications Center that received the call ended up supplying 6 recordings of unnecessary crash detection calls, all spurred by rides at Kings Island.
Now, Apple is saying that the feature is extremely accurate in detecting severe crashes, And they'll continue to improve with time. But the thing is, this isn't just happening over at Kings Island. It happened at Dollywood. At Dollywood. Apparently, Dollywood posted warning signs at two of its most high-octane rides. The signs read, Dolly is awesome, followed by, actually, I didn't say that, but you should know you're at Dollywood. Cell phones and other devices should not be brought aboard any attraction. Due to the dynamic movement you will experience on this ride, Apple Watches and similar devices may activate their emergency call function. To prevent your device from making unintended 911 calls, please turn it off or enable airplane mode. Who'd have thunk it?
I wonder how they're going to fix this. I mean, do you just geofence amusement parks if you have more than two of these in a set span? We don't do crash detection calls from the amusement park anymore?
Yeah, but then, like, what if somebody actually does fall and hurt themselves? I think you're going to have a rule about, are we going to have to start checking cell phones before you get on rides, like showing that it's off or in airplane mode? I mean, because I know to put it away in your bag. I take my cell phone on rides, but I make sure it's locked up.
I think that you put up gate signage. I think that you put up because look, this isn't going to happen on the teacups. This isn't going to happen on the Dumbo Takes Flight. This is going to happen on Space Mountain. This is stuff.
It hasn't happened to me yet, but I don't know if that's because it's just the 14.
It's the 14.
Just the 14. Okay.
So, and I'm not trying to pick on Disneyland here.
That's just what's around. It would definitely be on Space Mountain over Dumbo.
Yeah.
If it happened.
So on the rides where you're getting the false hits, you put up another sign. This is going to make your phone think you're dying. Turn your phone off before you get on the ride. And of course, in our society where everybody's got to take pictures of themselves doing everything, there'll still be folks that set it off. But you make it clear, like if you do this on a regular basis, if you're sending off false 911 calls, you get fined.
Yeah.
Just like from any other phone.
I just think of call centers are already impacted, right? And then resources are already spread thin, and then now you're having to sort through, okay, is this a roller coaster or not? Well, I would have been surprised if they wouldn't have looked at a map to see the coordinates, but how would you have known, I guess? Well, and I think that I don't know if this is universally true, but I think in some jurisdictions, any contact with 911 that does not result in like an affirmative statement to the effect of, oh no, I accidentally dialed this, everything's fine, I don't need help, thank you though, they have to send somebody to check on. Oh. Yeah.
I know it's the policy in Clovis.
That would make sense.
I found that out the hard way.
How'd you find that out?
When I was a sophomore in high school, back when we had landline phones, I dated a girl whose phone number was 2911 something something something. And so you pick up the phone off the wall and and I picked up the phone and I dialed the number quickly. Apparently, I did not fully depress the 2.
Oh.
So after 911, nothing else counts. And so I'm standing there and the phone rings like twice. And I get, 911, what's your emergency? And I just went, oops, wrong number, and hung up the phone. Okay. And they sent a cop car to my front door.
Just to double check. Yeah, because you don't know if like something really did happen or if somebody is, any of those things, which I understand. But this is Apple saying, oh yeah, we're working on it. Okay, cool. I don't know how you put something into a roller coaster mode.
No, I think you have to geofence the park.
Yeah. Where I've seen the issue is, how you can make people, some of, your emergency medical contacts. Mm-hmm. There was a time, and something on this watch, I don't know exactly how to do it, but you can have it hit emergency mode, right? There was a time my watch kept blowing up because my dad kept accidentally hitting it. And so I'm thinking he's having some sort of like episode. It was like 3 or 4 times. And then I realized he's just got his phone in his pocket or his watch is hitting while he's working or whatnot.
Yeah.
But it just keeps like buzzing and going off that I'm getting an emergency contact. And you ask how my anxiety is.
I hope they solve this quickly because I think it's a great feature, but you cannot waste public resources.
Oh, absolutely not.
You cannot waste 911 dispatchers' time like this. So I hope they solve it quickly, but I'm not in terms of stupid being stupid. This is not the most outrageous thing I've seen. Now, encouraging children to become YouTubers by buying them My First Vlogger playset, that might rank up there with one of the dumbest things that you could do. And that's a real thing now.
But if we're talking about what kids are watching the adults in the world do, this is right in line. One of the top toys boasts being a video blogger is a top career choice for youngsters.
No, it's not.
Is it not though? It's 35 pounds. So what is that, like $35? It has a pretend selfie stick and camera stand with a light ring in a carry bag. Such narcissistic self-promotion already creates unhealthy expectations among teenagers. To encourage children as young as 3 to vlog is deeply concerning. They're not wrong.
Honestly, if through some magic spell, Doctor Strange became a real thing and we asked him to cast this spell, and you simply blocked every pedophile, foot fetishist, and otherwise basically gnarly pervert from interacting with influencers on social media, how many of those people would be broke and back to working at Mickey D's in 24 hours?
I think you would see a considerable downturn in profit. But the reality is that kids growing up now are watching what older kids are watching and what adults are watching, and a lot of people are watching vloggers or supporting people that make a living by doing this kind of stuff.
Don't train your kid to be. This is like buying a toddler a Kim Kardashian makeup kit.
I'm sure those are out there too.
All right, in Fresno, westbound 180 at Fowler, we got a report right now of a wrong-way driver, so be really, really careful. Once again, westbound 180 just east of Fowler Avenue. Also, in Madera, State Route 145 at Road 29, we have a hit-and-run non-injury accident. Also, Road 36th Avenue 12, this too is in Madera. There is a partial road blockage there. Then we have in Porterville, State Route 65 at Fountain Springs Avenue. There's a report of some road blockage and some slowdown there. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
American pistachio growers celebrating the harvest by giving away locally grown pistachios at KMJ's 100th anniversary party October 11th at the Big Fresno Fair. See you there, and let's go nuts.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wilson with Wilson's Power Sports, located in Madera, California. My husband Bob and I have been working with Cumulus Media for over 5 years. Within the last 2 months, we started working with Cumulus's digital department and are extremely pleased with their results on Cumulus Boost and search engine marketing.
Find out more. Go to cumulusboost.com. We'll get you a free website audit along with all the details of Boost. cumulusboost.com. Boost from Cumulus Media.
Jump on a tractor and get some work done with John Deere's Family 3 Series small tractor. From the moment you get in the seat, you have a ton of features at your disposal to tackle every chore on your checklist. Loader work, mowing, leveling, digging in. Well, you have the vision, and it's affordable. Check out at Thomas & Tractor Company in Firebaugh, where for over 55 years, they strive to provide their customers with individual personalized attention. Thomas & Tractor Company in Firebaugh, where superior service is standard equipment.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation. And they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Don York here with Matt Betterton of Pickett Solar. Matt, tell us about your Valley-based company.
So Pickett Solar has been established as a trusted name in the large-scale solar industry in the Valley. We've been doing solar since about 2008. We primarily focus on large-scale ag and large-scale commercial and industrial solar solutions. But really the foundation of our business the roots go much deeper. We've been established in this marketplace for about 4 decades under the umbrella of Don Pickett and Associates, doing large-scale commercial and retail construction.
We're talking to Matt Betterton of Pickett Solar. Matt, I'm hearing a lot about changes soon coming with solar net energy metering. NEM 2.0 is going to be replaced by NEM 3.0. What does this mean for business owners wanting to go solar?
The transition from NEM 2.0 to 3.0 is expected to occur in Q1 2023. So solar systems that are started and applications in with PG&E by the end of 2022 are expected to be safe and grandfathered into the current NEM 2.0 program, which currently have the most favorable economics the solar industry has experienced. So right now, payback terms typically are 2 to 3 years for solar investments, especially in taking into account some of the tax benefits that come with doing solar. The expectation, again, all of this is not finalized yet, but the expectation is that this number could easily triple in time frame with the proposed change.
Matt, if a business owner wants to find out more information about Pickett Solar, what's best?
I want to reiterate, the time is now. There is a very unique window of opportunity. It's not if NEM 3.0, but when and what it will look like when it does go into place. Reach out to us. We'll do a free cost-saving analysis. Go to pickettsolar.com or give us a call here locally at 559-431-3535. And let us show you the financials and see if it's a good fit for you. And, hey, take advantage of this increase in the federal investment tax credit while you're at it.
For more information, go to pickettsolar.com.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
This is the afternoon drive, getting ready to wrap it up here on KMJ. That's Philip. I'm Skip. Today we're in the studio. Tomorrow we are out live at the Big Fresno Fair. Excited about it. Finally, our 100th anniversary show that's going to be taking place. We'll be broadcasting from the Fresno County Historical Museum during the show. And then you come out for the 100th anniversary concert, brought to you by American Pistachio Growers and Caglia Environmental. We've got Tower of Power, the Appletones, and Paul Rodriguez. Table Mountain Concert Series sponsored by Toyota and Modelo Especial, and you can get in for really cheap tomorrow.
Yeah, follow the Big Fresno Fair on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. If you need to know more about how all that, the $2 admission happy hour works, go to FresnoFair.com and they'll lay it out for you. But you can get into the fair from 4 to 7 tomorrow afternoon for $2. And of course, you'll be there to see the show. I'm excited about all 3 acts. I really enjoy Paul Rodriguez, Tower of Power, one of the all-time great party bands. I'm really excited to see the Appletones get out.
One is I want to see what they all dress up like, because on a regular day, Ray looks cool, so I can only imagine. I've only just heard things. Like, so they do cover songs, right?
Yeah, they do British Invasion stuff.
Okay. I can get down for that so I can know some of the words. I love comedy. I think we should have more comedians at shows doing the in-between, and I don't know what the order is for this, but I like that vibe. And then I'm just going to sit back and watch everybody have a good time for Tower of Power, because by that point, I'm going to be so full of kettle corn. It's going to be a good time, though. I love the fair.
I'm really looking forward to being out there. If you haven't seen the museum, it's something special. They did a really great job of putting it together. And there is an interesting mural of presidential visits to Fresno up on the second floor of the museum. It's inside. It's what I would think of as back and right from the entrance. And there's this mural of presidential visits, and it's LBJ and Richard Nixon and the Clinton and Obama and all of that, right? It's they've got the shot from the Trump rally with him standing at the podium with the Fresno, California logo on it. There's a shot of George W. Bush, and I think it's when he's just gotten off the ladder of Air Force One. I don't know who selects these photos. I don't know if being a major benefactor to the fair would in any way influence how these photos are chosen, cropped, and placed on this wall. Because it's just kind of a chronological thing from oldest to newest, with Trump being at the very end, having been the most recent presidential visit, obviously. But when you're standing there and you're looking at the photo of George W. Bush having just come down the stairs of Air Force One, if you look at the man who was apparently first in line to shake his hand as he came to Fresno, California, it's a voice you guys know. You hear him every day right before we come on the air. Michael DeManuel Jr.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
We got to get the great one, Mark Levin, rolls up.
Get a picture of him next to it tomorrow.
Before that, news from the ABC Newsroom and our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. Thank you guys for your calls, your attention, and your time. We will see you at the big Fresno Fair for the 100th anniversary celebration for KMJ tomorrow afternoon, starting at 2 o'clock.
Bye.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
The Valley's Legends and Legacies are brought to you as a public service by the family of Bill Tatham